but I'm not like officially starting this. This is I don't know. I don't want us to have to be in a separate voice chat to be able to like get up to speed, but I want people to like have a chance to like join before we get started. So I always end up with this beginning thing with this on the screen where we just talk.
I like that. Yeah, it's a good idea to give people a chance.
I forgot how to share.
You just do share and then a video file.
Okay. Oh my gosh, who's emailing?
Oh, so I can't share. Oh, okay, I can't share my screen.
I think you can.
Oh, okay,
But
I can.
This is just a video file for my computer.
Right.
Okay.
So I just have a bunch of tabs open with my YouTube videos.
That'll work
Someone
too.
share.
Will that work?
Okay. Let me see.
I
what
mean,
have.
it doesn't matter. I don't have to. So that'll be good.
All right, how far? Well, we'll talk. Maybe we talk about that actually on the stream.
Yeah, we don't have to. What's this?
Save it for the recording. We do that all the time when we're recording the podcast. Like, we'll just be chit-chatting for, like, I don't know, 40 minutes, because we'll play a little game before the show. And every single time I'm like, shut up, nope.
Yep.
Wait for the show.
I know,
Yeah.
we do the same thing. Well, and the funny thing is, a lot of times we haven't talked to Ken in, all week.
Yeah, so you,
And
like,
then-
catch up for a while. And
Right.
You're like, this is great. We should have been recording this.
We're like, hold on. Everybody shut up.
Yeah,
Let me
right.
do the podcast intro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the worst to me is if I say something on the show that they've already heard, and then they're just fake reacting to it. That's
Right,
the worst.
Right, yeah. You have to do it again. No, we did do that again for Ken was telling me about his poker night on the last podcast, and we're like, hold on. Let's actually
that's
record
true.
this.
Right. Yeah,
And he had to like
exactly.
repeat
You want it to be?
everything.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right. I'm just trying to figure out which of my videos are garbage. Which can be.
Well, I know, right? So I luckily, because I was setting this up, I had the opportunity to
What's up,
go
guys?
and
Oh, we can't. They can't hear us.
rename. They can hear us.
Oh, they can't hear us?
Yeah, I renamed all of my video files so I know what the heck they are.
Oh, damn, you have a shitload coming up. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean,
I have
I'm
6.
gonna
Whoa.
put like 1 or 2 of these, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I got the job I interviewed for a while back. I didn't know you interviewed for a job, Joe.
I
Congrats.
remember that. Yeah. Was it?
Oh,
Are
that's
you still
awesome.
Are you still at DTE? Or did you move companies? Is it just a new job within
I
the
think
same
it was
company?
internal, if I remember correctly, or quasi-internal.
At DTE Gas.
Gas. That's right. Yeah.
Nice. Is that still downtown? Or where are you now? Do you get to work from home? Working from home is great, but my life is so different. And weirdly, like we went out tonight, and we all went to like we tried to go to a Mongolian barbecue, and it was just weird as shit being on the road doing things that were normal 3 years ago. That now it's just I'm like, man, it's just weird. Still working from home, that's cool. Move from DTE Electric to gas.
Cool.
Nice. Hey, if it's more money, good job.
yeah, right.
It's not.
for
You
sure.
you did it wrong.
Went
Oh, I know
backwards.
what my name is. Are we live? Okay.
Are you guys ready for
Gary
this?
Cage shit. I don't know, man. I have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
Good.
What are we talking
That's right. Just
We probably could have gotten up to speed, and we decided not to. Let's just do this.
I like it better that way.
yeah.
I prepare for so much. Sorry, continue.
You cannot prepare for this one thing.
Yeah. That's fair.
All right. Well, thank you for everyone who's joining on stream tonight, and for anybody who's watching a recording of this. Thanks for tuning in. I will do our little bit of a audio intro, and then we'll get the show on the road. So, hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Date Night Dice podcast. We are talking about Elden Ring again, and we've brought a guest on the show. Ryan James from the Gamecasters is here to discuss
Hey, everybody.
Elden Ring.
Welcome.
So,
Thanks for having me. Super excited.
Yes. Thanks for being here, Ryan.
Yeah, for sure.
We did an initial thoughts discussion because we were so obsessed with this game in the beginning that we had to talk about it. And we were, 20 hours in at that point, Ken?
It was pretty early. Yeah.
Bumming around the first area of the game. And I think this game deserves a final thoughts discussion because I have played it essentially consistently since it came out until now.
Yeah.
And
Was that 5 weeks? 8
something like
weeks?
that.
I don't know.
No,
It's not that long.
Was
I don't
it
think it's
beginning
quite. I
of-
don't think it's 8 weeks.
Mid-February, maybe?
I'm
Maybe
gonna look
5
up
or
when
6 weeks.
Elden Ring release date, February 25th. So
Okay,
it's been
so
just
5
a month.
weeks. Jeez.
Yeah.
Not even. Wow.
And did you guys play it day one?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's
think
cool.
I bought it and preloaded it like the day before.
yeah. Yeah.
We weren't gonna play it. I keep saying we because Ken and I we
We
were
were in the
talking
same
about it a whole
boat.
bunch.
You can say we.
Right,
and
yeah,
I.
like we were like, we're not gonna play this. We don't play Souls games, and then we're like, maybe this is the one.
Sounds
like
pretty good. This might be the one to get in on.
it was. Oh, hey,
Yeah, it was a
bored to
good
play.
choice.
So, what I want to do, we're not going to go like crazy spoilers, but I will give a spoiler warning up front. I'm not going to be super careful to dance around every single thing in the game. You will probably find out some story spoilers from this. We're not necessarily going to show like final boss fights or anything like that, but we will show some gameplay footage in the background, and some of it is from later game areas. We're not talking like Faramazula or whatever happens after that or any of the final bosses or any of that kind of stuff. But I do have some late game stuff that might be shared. But we'll probably follow the same thing that we did last time. We'll have some gameplay footage in the background, and we can just kind of talk about the game and what we think. Like, not, we're not video game reviewers, but we do play lots of video games, and this one has been sort of like a special one, I feel like. At least it was to me.
It's definitely... It's already being heralded as Game of the Year. In, early March, the red carpet was rolled out for it to be Game of the Year. And it probably holds up to that. I mean, we got some time to pass here and see what comes out, but
Right.
I don't know.
For me, like every few years, so I play a lot of I don't play as many video games as I used to. Board games kind of took over like a decade ago, but before that, I had every system that had ever come out ever since like Commodore 64, like everything. I was like the video game guy. And so now in my video game journey, I don't know what the hell you call it. Every few years, there's like one game that comes along that seems to like ensnare me.
I agree,
And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is that game now. The last game that did this to me, I can remember, was I think Hollow Knight. I don't know if you guys played Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's
but
like a
I know about
Metroidvania.
it,
It kind of was like a Metroidvania, but it did use the Souls mechanism where if you died, you lost all your stuff until you went back to where you died to
Okay.
pick it up. And it was all about boss fights and everything like that. But there really hasn't been anything since then, personally, that like just like got me, until this. And I tried like hell not to get into it. It was when I watched you two
tried hard,
talk about. I watched you two talk about it, and I was watching it, and I was like, I don't think I need this game. It looks so dark and depressing, and I don't think I want anything to do with it. But man, do I loved because maybe before Hollow Knight, it was maybe Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what I would have said for the last one that really
Just got
it
you,
just
right?
grabbed me, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and so this, my God, this is like Breath of the Wild on steroids.
Yes.
And when I played it, it wasn't as dark and depressing as I had originally thought it was going to be.
I agree. Yeah.
And we'll get into it more, but going off of what you said, Ken, about how this could be Game of the Year, I balked it for a while, and I'm now ready to say it's like one of the best games I've ever played.
It's in that. It falls into that special category where you just play it until you can't play it anymore. I don't know what else. I don't know how else you describe games like Breath of the Wild or like Fallout 3 for me, where you just played it for just a
Fallout 3, another one.
Specifically a single player game where you're just in this world for so long that it's like the problem with games like this is the hangover afterwards. Like a year from now, where you're like, dang, why don't they make Elden Ring 2? Or
Right.
Where's the next big fish that comes along?
Yeah.
Because it usually is a good 4 or 5 years until you get a superb game.
Yeah, like a
this
truly
again.
special game.
Yeah. But it's cool. It's fun.
I'm
I'm
trying to
surprised
decide
more
here.
games haven't come out like this Breath of the Wild style. Maybe because it's just so hard to do because it's so expansive. If there was that one,
Is it just so big?
it's got to maybe just be like it's too much for publishers or you know, to do.
Well, and I think it's hard to design a game that leads you through its level design and world building instead of through quest markers and cutscenes. You know, and you don't have a quest log and a bunch of markers on a map, so they have to build. They have to build the world in such a way that it's going to invite exploration, right? And that's the thing with this game and with Breath of the Wild is everywhere you look at something that kind of like is intriguing or interesting, if you go and check it out, there is something there.
Usually,
and it was designed that way on purpose.
Map.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they want you to miss stuff, which is crazy to me. Board to Play, Joe just said, I love that Elden Ring did a patch and added more quests and such, like DLC. I didn't know they added more quests. I knew they added more like NPC storylines. Maybe that's what he's talking about. There's one really quickly. I don't know how I can share this, but there's this one video that I wanted to show everybody that kind of goes about what Ben just said. How do I do this, Ben?
Yeah, if you can share, I can stop this one. Now, one of the things Board to Play asks, did any of us finish the game? So I think it's important to say before we give our review here or our final thoughts or whatever, how much Elden Ring did we play?
Yeah.
So I have finished the story, and I beat the final boss. I cheesed the final boss a little bit, and I'm not upset about that at all because I think that the final boss is freaking lame.
Do you really?
Oh man,
no.
Not lame in it's not interesting way. In that it's like this is like unfair. It was so crazy, and so the fact that I kind of like cheesed it a little bit at the end and won, I was totally fine with that because I won a lot of boss fights fair and square, leading up to that.
Right.
You're due.
I went to every major area of the game and beat all of the main bosses.
Right.
So I haven't beat every boss at the end of every catacomb, in every cave, and every, there's overworld bosses, right? In the open world, there's like dragons you run into and the Black Knights and that kind of stuff. I haven't beaten every single one of those.
There's like too many of them. There's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
But of the main, like, shard bearers and area bosses and that kind of stuff, all the big bads, I beat, did all those boss fights, and finished the game.
Wow.
Where are you at, Ken?
I am in what I think is considered like the end game, the third act. Without
I
being
think you are too, right?
Without being spoilery, you get to a point where you finally catch up to the plot and you set the plot in motion for the closing battle or battles, right? And I'm glad to hear that you can cheese the end boss because I most likely will because it's like, listen, man, I earned this. Let me finish the dang game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sweat bullets over like I gotta beat this guy fair and square.
All right, so Board to Play is at the Fire Giant. If you beat the Fire Giant, you push past the next area, there's one big major, what I would consider like Dark Souls-esque dungeon-like area. It's not an open world, it's more like a Dark Souls level. And then it's a series of boss fights until the end. So he's almost at the end, too.
Yeah. So, Joe, I think that's his name. I just beat the Fire Giant. And after you beat him, you tumble down the hill of finishing the game, basically.
Crumbling Farah Missoula.
Yeah. Is it Thera Missoula?
Yeah, Farah Missoula, which I think is the ancient like city of the dragons. That how there's like rubble everywhere all over the whole land, and nobody is like bats an eye at it. Like, what? I think there was a floating, flying dragon city
that
at some point was broken and crashed down all over the land.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, that's the story of all those ruins.
There's still some of it up there.
Oh
yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're at the end. The Fire Giant is an epic battle of you against 2 feet. and then occasionally you get smashed.
And sometimes he
Enjoy.
rolls.
He does
rolls
do a
around.
cool roll, and then he's suddenly like 300 yards away, and you got to try and get to him.
Where are you
how
at,
about-
Ryan?
Yeah.
So I'm much closer to the beginning of the game. Well, I don't want to say the beginning of the game. I'm about 50 or so hours in, and I feel like I've done nothing. So main story wise, I beat Godric from the Stormvale Castle, and I'm like doing everything I possibly can in Liurnia,
Okay. Yep.
and I'm at the point right now. The next time I boot up the game, I'll probably start Rhea Lucaria, and I'm at
Okay,
like
second
level.
boss, yeah.
I'm at like level 67 or 68. So
Okay,
I'm guessing
you're
I'm
in good
over.
shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm in pretty decent shape over.
You'll be
I
okay.
want my goal is to be as over leveled as possible every step of the way.
That's
what
how
I want.
That's
to
what
do.
I did as well. Yeah.
That
I
is
mean-
a good point, and it's a question I have for you guys: is do you like if there is let's say for the beginning of the game, this changes later, but in the beginning of the game there is a legacy dungeon that gatekeeps, and legacy dungeon is the terms for a classic Dark Souls level, right?
So linear. You have to go through every hallway and every corner and beat every guy on the way there.
And
to
then it
get
has
to
some
the
bosses in it and an end
Yeah.
boss at the end or whatever. Each of the like biomes in the game is then kind of gate kept by a legacy dungeon, a classic Dark Souls level. If you do all the content in the open world that is outside of that legacy dungeon, I feel like you can get to a point where you're very well leveled for the legacy dungeon.
Yeah.
And I liked that you could do that. I
Yeah,
liked that
agreed.
you could get powerful before you had to go in there.
I mean,
and you
to
weren't.
me, that's the
you know,
selling point of this game to me.
100%.
I agree.
If you, I mean, because if you don't have that aspect, this is just Dark Souls again, right? If you can't go somewhere else and level up, no matter how cheap that may be, or if you're rune farming or whatever at some specific, like, oh, here's 10 guys, you just AoE attack and get 10,000 runes. I don't know. That's the only thing that makes this game, I'm not going to say playable, but I can stomach it if I can go somewhere else and level up
Agreed.
and try new things. Yeah.
My main hindrance with a Dark Souls game, I never played one, and the reason was because I am not a fan at all of grinding boss fights 30 times until
Right.
I win. I've seen
Right.
these YouTube videos where these guys are like, "Oh, I beat this boss in sub 70 tries. Yay! It took me 2.5 hours." I'm like, "Oh, fucking hell!" But so
Yeah.
what I like about this game a lot is there's no like you don't pick a difficulty at the beginning of the game. It's not like, is it easy, is it medium, is it hard? You set that.
Yep.
The game can be as easy, kind of. You can make it as easy as you want
didn't
if you
know there
spend
was
the
a portal up
time
there.
to do that, or if you just decide to go through. Like Ben beat the game in what, 60 hours or so, Ben?
I think I was right around 65 or 66.
That's pretty quick.
I mean, I'm at 50 hours, so only like 15
wow.
or 16 hours less than him, and I'm only in Liurnia or whatever, you know? So I'm probably making it a lot easier on myself, which I also enjoy it because my favorite part of the game is not the battling and the fighting, it's the exploration and
Yes.
the finding of things. And Ben, I have
agree.
this video queued up. I think you have to like bring it into the
I will
into the
queue up
thing.
your video. Now, while I bring that up, I do want to make a good point, is that I think one of the things in the game that's really well balanced is the amount of runes, which is experience points, that you get in each area compared to like the maximum level of that area.
Yeah.
Because what'll happen is the cost to level up goes up exponentially, but the runes you get from the enemies in the area does not. So there is sort of like a diminishing returns.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
I found,
Can't take too long, yeah.
yeah, between the three of us, I probably went through the game the fastest, but I got to level 155 by the end of the game.
Right?
Yeah, I was
Wow.
I was very high level, and it was because, like, if you just play through the game, like I never farmed, and I never went anywhere and farmed runes. If you just play
Oh,
through
man,
the game,
I did.
the ramp
Yeah, me
of runes goes up so much that you just like, I felt like it matched the
Okay.
difficulty matched with the runes the enemies drop, because in the beginning, like, a boss drops like 1,000, and if you go to the Halig tree, the normal enemies are dropping 1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah. Minimum.
Yeah.
All right, I think you can control it here, Ryan.
Yeah, I just hit play. Okay, so this is an example of I was just about to fight Godric. So I made it through Stormvale, and I'm about to fight Godric, and I see this little ledge here. And I'm just like, oh, let's just see what this ledge does. You know, I'm just exploring as much as I can. And then I see a message over there, and I'm like, I wonder if I can get to that. And so I jump to that.
Wow, man.
And all of a sudden, I'm in this like, and this is the best part of the game, I think, for me, is I'm in this new area that is very fleshed out that I never would have found had I not jumped onto a ledge, a windowsill, and then gone to another windowsill, and it led me over. You know, I'm just all of a sudden I'm jumping down this cascading. It just like opens up. It reminded me of the fight between the Balrog and Gandalf. If I can get really nerdy, where they're like, you know, you think they're in this like this pit and they fall in the pit and it's over, but then it's like they fall down and down and down, and all of a sudden it opens up and it's this huge area, and then they keep fighting, and that's what this game does the best for me so far. This kind of stuff is what makes me want to play it every second of the day. Is like, what can I find? Like, what am I going to find next? Like, there was this video I watched of this guy, and it was just like, oh, he's in a dungeon, and it was like 30-second clip. And he was like in a dungeon. He's like, oh, this dungeon sucks. And then he like just swung his sword at the wall, and then the wall disappeared. And then he goes into this room, and he's like, what is this? There's a treasure chest in here. And the treasure chest had like nothing big. And he's like, well, that's stupid. And he swings his sword again, and another wall disappears right behind the chest. And then there's a site of grace, and it opens up, and it's like, what the fucking hell? And that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. And what you know, this is not my own words. I'm stealing this from a YouTube video I watched of a guy named Ratatasker. He has a really cool YouTube channel, and he covers Elden Ring stuff. But he did a video on the FromSoft is not afraid to spend a lot of money developing something that you might never see.
Yeah.
So that when you find when you find stuff like the video you're showing, the feeling of finding that, how rewarding it was to walk onto that ledge through a window and find a gigantic area, that they cherish that experience so much that they're willing to make it so that you'll miss a bunch of it, so that the ones you do find feel special. Yeah. And that's crazy. That's like crazy that because that costs money. It costs development time. It costs all kinds of things. But it's what like makes the game rewarding.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
I could not believe when I found this thing. I was just like ear to ear, just like, holy shit! What the heck is this? This is so awesome. And then it eventually leads into this boss fight. You know what I mean? It's like there's a boss down here that I never would have found had I not jumped on this. I was just gonna go fight Godric, and that the only reason I didn't. So I'd like planned. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna boot up the game today. I was right at the mist, you know, to go into the Godric fight, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and then be done with Stormvale. And I was like, you know what? There was this painting I remember I wanted to go find that I didn't get, and so and that's what led me to come to this thing.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh, I just saw your character's face. Does your character look like you?
Yeah, he does.
I gave him a beard. I did give him a beard. You can't see him now. The armor I have on him, I have this like, he's got this like glass hood with like a bunch of little like, well, I'll show you in a different video.
The gimp mask?
It is basically a gimp mask, only it's like reflective glass on the outside. That again, I just found in this random room. I happen to have a stone sword key. To get into a room to, you know, just get this random loot.
Well, and here's the interesting thing, right? I've never been in the room that you're showing in this video, but I have been to the bottom of the castle and fought the boss down there. So I went down there a different way.
So there's another way to get down there.
What's at the bottom of the castle?
Oh, one of those stupid
ulcerated tree spirit things.
Those those giant tree lizard things.
It flops around like a freaking temper tantrum baby. You know what I mean? And what sucked about it for me, because for me, I'm like doing an intelligence build. You know, I need to be kind of like far away and like run away and then do a little spell. But when I'm fighting this damn tree spirit in a little bit, it's in this like tiny little room and it's huge and there's nowhere for me to go. And so it was actually a decently difficult battle because of that.
Yeah. And my first complaint, sometimes the camera just goes absolutely AWOL in terms of, and I understand that there's not much they can do about that, right? It's third person. if you back into a wall and this thing's body slamming you against the wall,
Right. You'll see. It loses me. I'm just like not in the video. Like
you're not in it anymore.
Yeah, there's a moment I'm like, where am I? Why am I not here?
Yeah.
Well, one of the other things would be interesting, and maybe if you have some video to share, Ken, at some point too, is that all three of us built completely different characters.
Yes.
And
That's
there's
really cool.
there's so much loot in the game, and there's so many weapons, there's so much armor and talismans and spells, and then the way that the stats affect all that stuff means like you get to build your character. You know what I mean? Unless you go online and say, I'm going to follow this YouTube guide and build this exact, thing. Like, I really felt like you get to, in the beginning, you're like, I'm not even sure what I want to do or what I want to go.
Yeah.
And maybe you get a weapon that you like or a playstyle that you like. Like, I got a curved greatsword in the beginning, one of the unique weapons, the Bloodhound Fang, and I stuck with that. And then I really liked two-handing that for so long, and it had been so long since I pulled a shield out. So I started looking into, like, what if you dual-wield weapons, and that opens up a thing called power stancing, which gives a whole new move set and stuff. And I was like, okay, where are the other curved greatswords? So then I started to look up stuff a little bit, like, not how do I build a build for dual curved greatswords, but where is another one I can find that I would like? And so I ended up building a character in the end that I felt like was mine, that I had made. This is my play style, and I'm going to play my way. And the way I went is completely different than the way Ken went, is completely different than the way that Ryan went.
Yeah.
And, so you just
There he
feel
was.
like you're...
Yeah, you saw.
Yeah.
It's so different than, like, I have liked in the past the Assassin's Creed since Odyssey. Odyssey and Valhalla. I like those games. I like The Witcher 3 a lot. Witcher 3 was probably better at this, where you could build a super tanky character, or one who uses potions a lot, or one who's super offensive, or, whatever. But this was even more so. Like, there's so many options, and there's not just spells, but there's, like, different schools of spells. There's
that
sorceries, and
yeah.
there's incantations, and then within those there's difference. There's glintstone sorceries, there's gravity sorceries, and then in incantations there's dragon ones, and there's which is more arcane, and then there's more like faith-based ones, and there's fire ones, and there's like all kinds of stuff. And then what I found overwhelming at first was like, how does each of the equipment and the scaling of equipment, and how does that roll in with my stats, and how do I even like, it took so long in the beginning for me to even figure out how to cast a spell.
100% agree. Once I got my staff, I had Bored to Play Joe was on there kind of like walking me through it, and I'm like, how do I even do this? This makes no, it was so, I felt so fumbly, like, I was doing it for the first time, and I liked that because now I feel very adept at it,
I didn't know how to use a potion for the first 4 hours, I think. And it paid. I don't know.
That's the whole thing is, like, so let's say you go heavy intelligence, right? So heavy intelligence can mean I'm going to have a really strong staff and cast really strong sorceries. Or maybe you're going to go with a, one of the, like the Moonveil Katana, or the Moon something greatsword, whatever the heck, the one that's in all the Dark Souls game.
Right, the one that shoots the...
And I'm going to do strength and intelligence, and my magic is going to be the fact that I use the Ash of War that's on the weapon, right? The weapon's ability. There's just, you could go so many different ways. It's crazy. The only thing is that a lot of the cool weapons come out later and later in the game.
Yeah.
And now they do have the ability to respec in there, and I'm really happy that they do. So in case because I found 2/3, 3/4 of the way into the game, I said, this is the way I want to play. And I made decisions in the beginning that were like, maybe I want to go strength, maybe I want to go this, maybe I want to be a faith build, maybe I want to do that. And you can do that because then when you're like, no, this is what I want to do, I have the equipment for it, and this is how I'm going to play, you can go and respec, and all those points you wasted in intelligence, for me, I'm never going to cast Glintstone Shard, I can just undo that because it was a waste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can put it into Dex because my weapons scale at Dex.
Yeah.
Brimstone Shard is all I cast. Well, it was all I cast.
If they didn't have a respec in there, boy, that might be a different story because I don't know how happy I'd be with the way that I played it. And it's like, man.
So how
not
did
gonna
you start, Ken, versus how you what made you respec? Like, what did you start as?
I went real. I was a confessor, which is basically a
That's what I am.
faith build.
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
That's my character is a confessor, yeah.
Interesting. But then I wound up. I wasn't. It doesn't tell you up front that in terms of magic, there are two major
Right.
groups.
I didn't know that.
Sorcery
either, yeah.
and incantations.
Yep.
Sorcery are mostly offensive, and incantations are mostly buffs and what's the other one? There's a few attacks, but they're mostly buffs. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to play like a paladin as I sort of figured this out, like block, heal, buff, sort of heal over time type thing. But the problem is there are very, very, very few weapons that scale with faith until you're in the last quarter of the game.
Right.
Which means
Yeah, right. One of the best faith scaling weapons you get from Rykard. From
Yes.
Rykard's, which is,
That's
when
he's
do you go to
last
Volcano
10% of the
Manor?
game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't even get there till you're on the Altus Plateau, and you probably don't even go there until after you've gone through the capital.
Right.
Right? So,
Right.
like,
Yeah,
that's
and so
way
then
late.
Then I sort of respec to this weird mix of faith and intelligence because I did have a sword that did that, which at the time they wound up nerfing that sword, which is great. They nerfed
Night and
both
Flame or
Yeah,
whatever.
they nerfed both of my primary abilities, which is the
Did you have
sword.
the Horror Frost Stomp?
No, it's called Barricade Shield, which you can basically block anything, and then you can
Oh.
counter really easy.
Oh, nice.
And then I had to kind of just respec from there, or no, I don't think I respec, but you just have to learn how to play better after that. But which is easier said than done. But I don't. It is cool because it's an RPG in the very classic sense that the role you're playing is your character, right? I'm not Geralt, or I'm not Commander Shepard, or whoever the Assassin's Creed characters are. I can't remember.
Right.
And so by the time you are done, even though there's less storytelling, by the time you're done, this is my character.
Yeah,
this is
you're right.
me. Yeah. So it's cool.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, this whole time, this whole thing, I don't know how I would have ever found this. So you guys have both been to this spot, eh?
I think I've been
I've
down
been
here.
I
down
wonder
here,
what
but-
the other way to find it was.
Because
but yeah,
I don't recall this, but when your earlier part that you found, that's the way I went down, but I didn't go
okay.
this way.
Oh, I see.
I don't
Yeah,
think.
it just kept finding stuff, and I you just see like something on somebody's body, like one of those on a
Yep.
body, and you're like, okay,
Yep.
I gotta get
Gotta
that
get
however
there.
I can. Yeah,
I'll
I can't
die
let it
if
go
I
now.
have to.
Now,
Yep.
right now that I've seen it.
Yeah, which is stupid because it freaking prompts you and it takes up the whole screen, and it's like kill everybody first.
That's one
Ken.
thing that really there's one thing that annoys me, and it's just me being stupid. But I was in a battle, and it was just with some bullshit enemies like these rats or something. But
That's what
there
gets you in
was
this
something on the screen, and I didn't see that I had to press the
I
Y
can't
button.
click
to stop.
away from it.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
can't
Oh my
do
God.
anything else. I'm like, what is going on? I can't.
A door somewhere has
Yeah,
unlocked.
right.
Or
And it's
like-
like, oh God, I didn't just press the button to knock that stupid text off the
Just put
screen.
a stone sword key in, and it
Yes,
just
that's
stays
it.
there.
It just
I
sits there.
I'm
hate
like,
that
I'm
so much.
slamming the
Yeah, me
controller
too.
to
I'm like,
fight a
why
guy.
am I not? I have magic. Why am I not casting a spell? Oh, because this dumbass text is still on the damn screen.
It's like I don't even read that stuff anymore.
I
right?
know,
You
me
just-
neither. It drives me absolutely nuts. It just drives me nuts. Oh my gosh! But then enemies like this will kill me.
Yep.
While I'm just sitting there trying to fight with the damn text. But
Look at you casting all this magic. So how many
Yeah,
of the
that's cool.
mana flasks do you bring with you? Because I bring 1 and I have 13 health flasks.
holy hell, I am I'm again. I don't have nearly as many as you guys. I have
Yeah.
2 health flasks and 7 mana flasks.
Whoa, that's
Yeah,
so different.
it's
That's-
all mana. I rare, and so my wondrous physic right now is I think it might be the same as the one you had, but I could be wrong. It's got this one that just increases my health,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
I've used that so to great. Like I've run out of my two, like in boss battle, I run out of both of my health flasks, and then I'm like, shit, what do I do now? But I have that wondrous physic on, and it's just like steadily, as long as I don't get hit, it just puts my health back up to full.
Nice.
You know, right now.
I've been a big fan of the like bubble, the one that you get to
That's
block
my other
one
one.
hit.
Yeah, that's my other one.
I need that one.
Maybe I.
So the
haven't
way
been
I came down here, I
Wow.
dropped right into this place.
So there's another way to drop to this.
Yeah, there's like it's where there's a it's right behind all the dudes. There's a big pile of dudes that like there's like an omen by them, and then you go up some stairs, and then you got to fight some birds. And there's a site of grace in a room back there. You can drop down here from there.
Well, that's funny because by that exact site of grace, there's a door that you can't open from that site of grace. And I got to that door by going on those windowsills. And so I was able to get back to that site of grace, and then I just went back through the door again and went all the way down. So I guess I didn't. Oh, you're saying there's an elevator maybe that's not there, and you just.
It wasn't an elevator. It was I had to drop down a ledge. There was like a guy, like a dead guy. If you go over to like get the item from him, you're like, wait a second, there's stuff down this ledge, and you drop down there. And I came back way later though, so this fighting this ulcerated tree spirit was not a problem. I have had plenty of problems with other ulcerated tree spirits.
Yeah, look at that. Look at all those blood.
Yeah,
things.
now
Right,
you know.
blood stains.
Now
Well, and
you
I had
know
no
what's up.
idea. I was all like, "Oh wow, look at this cool hidden area I found where I get to jump down." And all of a sudden, it's like visions of strong foe. I'm like, "No, I gotta fight a boss now." I was like so mad. I was so mad. I did not want to do it at all. I was just trying to look anywhere I could to get out of here. You know.
Now, I found that, and I'm curious to hear what you have to say, Ken, about this. So in the beginning, I loved the open world exploration of Limgrave and the Weeping Peninsula and the Liurnia or whatever. And as soon as I got to the capital, and the capital is sort of like less open world, it's very much a really big legacy dungeon.
It's a
really?
huge. In retrospect, it is very open world. At the
it
time,
is-
when you first come to it, it feels like it's almost overwhelming of a legacy dungeon.
But it does still has the like there's lots of paths you can go down, but there's shortcuts you can open, right? There's ladders you can kick down and you can get back to here, and it's just really big. And then I did that, and then you go down into the subterranean shunning grounds, which is
I did not
down.
find that. Still haven't found it.
So that's like another legacy dungeon underneath the capital, right? It's not open world at all, but it is. It's another maze-like sewer structure. So I did the capital and I did the shunning grounds or whatever, and then I went and did Volcano Manor, which is another legacy dungeon.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I tell you what, like that series of not open world. So in the beginning, I loved the open world. Like, there's a secret catacomb over here. Or there's a mine, or there's a this, or there's a, and now I found this, and there's a ruins or whatever. And then towards the end, I found that, like, I just loved being in the dungeons. I loved that, like, okay, here's a thing that's like a big confusing challenge. It's gonna have multiple sites of grace in it and have these checkpoints, and like in the Volcano Manor, like at first you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to go or what to do, or
too big.
Yeah.
It
Hey
is
guys,
like
I gotta bounce out for just 1 sec. I'll be back.
Sure,
in just
of course.
a minute.
That's
I can
all right, no
stop
problem.
sharing the screen if you want,
Sure.
or
why
can
not?
you
Switch
stop sharing
up?
it for me? In case
Although, are you
Sure,
gonna
I
beat
can
this
pull
guy?
up something
oh,
else.
you can do it too.
Oh,
Yeah, he gets
Yeah.
me. I think he gets me the first time, and then I come back and beat him.
You're doing really good.
This might be the.
Bored to Play
Like,
asks, did I beat the
almost
boss
one
that was in the
I'll be
Lake of
back.
Rot? And I did not even try. I didn't want anything to do with the Lake of Rot. I actually, when I got to the Lake of Rot, this is the one time I went and looked up, how do you get to the other side of this? I don't want to deal with this at all. And I just was like, you need to go here. And I was like, okay. And I just ran across to where you need to go, and I never I never
I didn't
went back
realize
there.
there was a boss in there. Wow.
It's another one of those. It's one of these.
The ugly worm thing?
Let me find it here.
Because I, fortunately for me,
It's
like
one
a
of
ro-
these.
Oh no, I
One of
didn't
these
fight him.
Dragonkin soldiers, but he's
Okay.
in the Lake of Rot.
Oh, screw that! And I have a spell that cures rot. I'm not fighting that thing.
I don't.
Are you
I
kidding
didn't.
me?
I didn't want to. Could you imagine? How would you even do it? You can't summon.
You can't heal fast enough. You can't. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't summon the horse, and you're just dying in the rot. I don't even know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I
no,
was like,
thank you.
I don't. That's not even fun. Like I don't want to
Okay.
deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, I got through the Lake of Rot
Here,
super
I'll
duper
mute this
quick
so it's-
actually.
Not messing up the audio. Yeah. But here's the thing, and it's actually this is the perfect thing to talk about with Ryan having stepped out because he's not that far enough into the game. And I will name Donkey's video where he said that his complaint about the game was that the damage scaling of the enemies is messed up.
Yeah.
And like I think our Melania fight is a perfect example. There is no way you can outstat or out armor or out prepare in any way to be able to block Melania's
Yes.
attack, right?
Yeah.
So Melania is one of the end game bosses. Here's another optional, right? You have to get 2 secret pieces
Yeah.
of a secret a medallion to go up an elevator to a secret place in which you have to. There's a bunch of stuff there in the consecrated snowfields. You have to get
I
to
hate
a
that area.
town where you have to solve a secret puzzle where there are invisible enemies all over the place.
Who
and
can
then
one-shot you? For
that
sure.
can one shot you. That opens up another a portal to another secret area that is probably one of the biggest legacy dungeons in the game.
Yes.
If you consider from the top of Halig Tree down to where
To the
Melania
bottom.
is,
Yeah.
that is way bigger than Stormvale, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's maybe not quite as big as the capital, but it's pretty close. It's
Yeah.
probably as big as the capital.
I agree.
It actually is. It's probably bigger.
Yeah.
So it's probably the
it's a little
biggest.
more linear, but it is probably
Yeah.
bigger. Yeah.
It's right, like it's like it's on scale with Farum Azula, I would say. Farum Azula is the one that takes quite a long time
that's
to get
not-
through.
I didn't want to hear that. Damn it. I don't like Farum Azula, and I just started.
Well,
Alright.
but
Well, I'll get
you
over
already
it.
got to the Godskin duo.
That was quick. I just ran past everybody. Just don't fight them.
But the thing is, like,
8% buff
So-
on magic. Nice.
yeah, that is nice. I don't find that the base enemies scale wrong, but a little bit. It's the
I
fact
think they
that, like,
do.
if you
I
get
think
caught,
Yeah.
if you get caught off guard, it doesn't matter if you have heavy armor. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how you've spec'd your character. It doesn't matter what level you are. Everything two-shots you. Every
Yeah.
boss or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I think
know-
that's just if you're playing a Dark Souls game, that's what you got to deal with, though, right? Like, because I can't tell you how many times there's a boss you want to kill, and it's not a big boss, and you know it's not a big boss because between the Site of Grace and the boss, there's a few enemies you got to get through, and they'll kill you on the way there. You could die time and time again. Like I fought a boss today that I was texting you about in Farum Azula or whatever.
mm-hmm.
I died more times trying to get to the boss than fighting the actual boss because you can't just rush past everything all the time, which maybe they're trying to teach you something, or maybe they're trying to, man, this is hard, watch out. I don't know. I have a little bit of a love-hate with this, and then I beat a boss and I think it's the best game on earth.
But the thing is, I feel like if you look at if we talk about the first couple of areas, right? So
Yeah.
the all the way up through Caelid and even through the capital, I feel
I
like there
like
was
the capital.
boss
Yeah.
fights where I had to learn the moves of the enemies or even normal enemies, right? Like board play here, Gold Lightning Knights in the capital
Yeah.
one shot me constantly.
Yeah.
But like they're also like you can sort of like, okay, I got to go around this way in
Right,
this
you can
area and
sneak
come
in
at this
some
guy from
places.
behind, and like
Yeah.
there's stuff that you can learn, and the I feel like on a boss like Melania, me and Ken have been trying to co-op Melania, and
Trying.
what we're doing is we're rolling the dice on the time. Like, there's been a couple of times where I felt like I played well. Like, I aggroed her, and then I rolled through a bunch of her attacks. Like, there was
Yeah.
one time we got to her second phase, and I still had my, like, defense bubble. Because,
Yeah.
like, I had dodged
Yeah.
a ton of attacks. And as long as she doesn't pull out her thing that's like, there's moves she has that you cannot dodge.
Yeah.
And I
And
don't
they
know what
kill
you're
you.
supposed to do about that. They
Yeah.
kill you no matter what armor you like. I am beyond normal
Whoa, look at
new
that
game
secret.
level.
Right.
Right. Like I'm a level almost like 160 or something like that with literally the heaviest armor in the game on. And if she targets me for the attack where it's like that 3-phase freaking there's no obvious way to even learn how to dodge it. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
like it's like we're just playing her until we
You're rolling
RNG
the
the
dice.
AI
Yeah.
that she doesn't do it, and then we'll beat her. Because and I found there were so many boss fights. Some of them were fair, but like I think back in the beginning when I fought Commander O'Neill, right? And I had a really hard time with him. I didn't have a
Really?
shield
Okay,
or whatever. I had such a hard time with that guy that I beat him by learning his moveset. And I felt like
Sure.
I leveled up as the player. I got better, and it was
Right.
so rewarding. It was so hard.
I hate those things.
I hate those things too. And I felt like at the end, it was like I was just like, I'm just gonna hit this guy as hard as I can, as fast as I can, as many times as I can, and hope he dies before he pulls off his one-shot move.
Yep.
And it just gets weird at the end. Now, one thing I did like about the end game was that, and like I was getting at before, in the beginning I loved the open world, and the end game it sort of narrows down.
It definitely
It's like,
narrows.
it gets very serious at the end.
Yeah.
It gets very Dark Souls-y at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know that I wanted another open world area. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
weird though because they get narrower, but they also get more numerous, and so I wonder, is quantity what I was looking for? Because I think you make a good point, because if you're at 80 hours and it opened up to a huge new area, I don't think I would be gung ho about it.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. Even the open world areas towards the end are not as rich as...
Right. They don't have like the secrets that the initial areas have.
Right. If you think
And
about
so they're-
Mountaintop of the Giants and the Consecrated Snowfields, which are the two later big open world areas that you can unlock,
There's just not a lot
there's
there.
nothing there.
No. I mean, maybe there's one or two, and I think that's maybe my gripe. If I have a big complaint, it's undoubtedly a good game. It could be optimized. It could do this. It could do that. But it gets narrower and narrower, and it loses some of the appeal that it had initially, which is these sort of ultra feature. It's dense open world. Not like, I hate to drag Assassin's Creed, but you can run through Assassin's Creed for 45 minutes in a straight line and never come across anything.
There's nothing in between you and the quest marker.
Right.
In Assassin's Creed.
Right. Here, you spend 10 hours between me and the quest marker. And it's just over this cliff. I just got to get up that cliff. But I don't know how. And there's a cave in front of me. There's a dragon over there. I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah.
And so, but towards the end of the game, I got to finish it so that I can say I can finish it. But it's losing the initial appeal. It does not extend to the late game.
I would agree. I would agree that that I think this is the best game I've ever played for the first half.
Yeah.
The sense of adventure and building of your character and the mystery and all the things that you find.
Yeah.
And then towards the but see, at the same time, I liked that the end narrowed down to like
Right. So
gameplay. In the
that's what I'm
beginning, it was like
saying.
adventure and exploration. And in the end, it's very much like execution and gameplay or whatever.
Yeah.
My only complaint about the end game is it almost feels like the bosses don't require you to like learn their movesets, because a lot of the boss attacks are like AoE stuff or like unavoidable
Right.
special
Right.
moves.
Yeah.
It's like this crazy, and that's why, like, when I got towards the end, I loved the Halig Tree area because of how difficult it
It was
was.
good.
Now
It was
I
hard. It was yeah.
Sorry about
I
that.
I felt like that was the last really fun area of the game because it was like fair and hard. It was super hard, but it was like it it felt like you could learn it. Like if you learned where the enemies were and who was where and what did
Yeah.
what, you could
Yeah.
fight the Clean Rot Knights. You could fight the stupid like harpy guys who are up in the upper part. Like you know where to avoid them.
All
I do
those
think
are
it's funny
nothing,
that an early game boss is a normal enemy type
Yes.
in the Halig Tree area.
Yeah.
But then, like I feel like Melania you just have to get like lucky with. But that's
Yeah.
like Volcano Manor. I loved Volcano Manor, and you fight the Godskin Noble in there, and I feel like that was a cool fight.
Yep.
That's a
It's
fair,
a fair fight.
And then you go do the Rykard fight, and that's a gimmicky sort of fight. But that's like the
Yeah.
thing. It's supposed to be this like gimmicky thing.
Yeah.
But the whole area was super cool, and the Halig Tree area was super cool, and I started to love the more classic Souls-like levels by the end of the game. But then the stream of like cheesy boss fights at the end, where it's like
Right.
when you haven't gotten there yet, but when you go fight not the last boss, but like second to last boss, it's like he does AoEs that are almost the whole arena, and
Yeah.
it's like the game is built at the
and
end that you have a summon that's leveled all the way up. You have to have and that you have to have a tanky summon who's gonna like essentially take aggro and take all the damage, because
Yeah.
if you get hit, you die in like 2 hits.
Well, and it even having not even being there, I feel like it's I can feel it's on the path of taking away what made the game accessible and approachable for most people, which is, well, I can go somewhere else, I can level up, I can do this sort of stuff. Like, I suppose you could level up in the Halig Tree. You're going to have a hard time doing it, but Consecrated Snowfield and the Giants area, there's not enough there for you to fight to level up and keep it interesting. I don't know.
Well, like Janelle says here, I like to be a tank, and I do too. Actually, if I told this to Ken, but my Witcher 3 character that I built the heaviest defense armor, and I did the like defense spell a lot, and I made it so like I wasn't dealing tons of damage, but I was never dying. Right, I could take so much damage. You cannot do this in this game, and
Which I'm okay with, but
Right.
go ahead.
Well, you're right. It has to. The thing is it has to be balanced on that edge of you're scared all the time. Every area of every part of every legacy dungeon is scary and
Terrifying.
hard, and that's what makes
Right.
it fun. That's
Right.
why it's rewarding, and that's why it's good.
Yeah.
I felt like it. I never felt like it wasn't unfair in outside of the boss fights, but there are some boss fights
Yeah.
where it's like,
They're
I don't
just-
know what you're supposed to do about these AoE attacks, and I really don't know how you're supposed to beat them without summons. And now summons
Yeah.
is a part of the game. There's a big whole online thing about like,
Man,
it's
that's easy mode.
easy mode and this and that, but like literally,
I'm fine with that. Who cares?
I don't
Yeah.
know how you beat some of the bosses without a summon. I don't know
Yeah.
how you could even do it, and you can
Well,
go
I-
watch videos of people actually doing it, right? And they're
Really?
like, I'm a
Wow.
level 1 frickin' whatever.
Yeah, but see,
And it's
those
like,
are also the people who are playing it for 3 hours. That
Right.
one
Yeah.
fight.
that
you know,
one
just
clip
to
was their
beat it.
300th try, right?
Right.
And I don't
Like,
want to try it
come
300
on.
times.
Right.
I'll try it 10 times.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'll take the first 9 where I got close on one of them early in the beginning, and I took 5 times to like learn their moves. That's what I did with the Erdtree avatars. I played an Erdtree my first Erdtree avatar. I fought for an hour.
Yeah, those
Wow.
guys are tough.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
You know, so
Yeah, for sure.
It's just such a weird thing. Is like I was so like in love with this game in the beginning. You know where you were, Ryan, and it just gradually as the game went on, more and more I just started to like the more Souls like levels, and it does narrow down. It almost in the beginning it's like all you do is open world. And then
Yeah.
you do a couple of like little dungeons here or there, and then that first trip into Stormvale, I was so scared.
Yeah, yeah, totally, dude. Well, you fight. Yeah, so I was kind of over leveled when I went in there, and I went in kind of like with a chip on my shoulder, like it's gonna be not a big deal. I beat Margit, is that his name? Margaret, whatever.
Yeah,
On
Margit.
like the first try, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. And then I walked into the place, and there was this like bird, like eating a corpse, and I was like, let's see what this guy does. And I walked toward him, and he just like shredded me with his toe scissors. And I was like, oh my god, this place, I feel like I'm way over level to be in here, and this thing is killing me. And so it was at that moment, which is like right almost at the very beginning when you get in there, that I was, like you said, just kind of terrified at every turn. Am I going to have enough FP to get through this next checkpoint? That's always the scariest time for me, is like, oh god, I'm almost out of FP, I'm almost out of health, and I haven't seen a checkpoint in forever. Am I going to get one, or am I going to have to do this all over again?
It was so exciting. I was on the edge of my seat, and I made sure, like, I did look up some stuff of like, how do you get to the Halig tree? How do you get to the consecrated snowfields? But I never read, here's a walkthrough of the Halig tree.
Right.
Because I always wanted that, like, I wanted to know how
let
to
me do
get
it
to the
myself.
door, but I never wanted to know how to get through it, because the excitement of trying to learn it yourself. It's so funny how the first time through an area can take you a half an hour of something that takes honestly 1 minute to
Yes.
run through if you knew where to go and who to run past. You know, if you were just like, I know, I died and I dropped my stuff right here, and so I'm just gonna go get it. You get there in like 45
2
seconds, and it
because
took
like
you,
every 2 feet you stop and you're like, what is this? And you go
what's
2
here?
feet, and
What's
you're like,
over here?
what's over on this side? Yeah, and it takes you forever. Like that video that I put up earlier, I was like tiptoeing, and then I'd stop. I'd be like, I don't know, should I go there yet? Maybe I should turn back and see if there's another point. And it took like a half hour to get to that damn ulcerated tree spirit, and then he kills me once, and I can get back to him in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, here's the interesting thing, right? So here's like me very late game. So this is footage of me after I've beat the final boss, and these are not my normal weapons, but these are 2 + 10 unique katanas. I leveled up all the way. They both do blood loss damage. That's why I have that stupid mask on. And I was just trying out katana. So this is in the area near the lava manor. What the heck's it called? The volcano manor. Volcano manor. And this fighting here is like trivial, right? Like, here's a tough boss. Like, it dies in like 2 hits. But then still, if I want to go, I was playing like this, and then Ken was like, hey, can you help me fight Moog or whatever? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And I showed up like this, and he just stomped us, and I was like, dang.
Oh, no. That's Izzy from Our Flag Means Death, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Moog his voice is the guy that plays Izzy in that show.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty
funny.
funny.
So it's interesting how I still loved the dungeons at the end, but I was ready to be done. Like, I don't necessarily want a new game plus.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather new character and
Yeah.
start weak
Yeah.
again, because being weak when everything is scary is the fun.
That's more
of it.
exciting.
Yeah, so the game plus then for you would be everything.
Right.
So you're still leveled up in a way, because what you can go towards and what you can't.
Yeah.
But I think that's a cool idea. Is just start fresh with
Yeah, like, I want to play Margot having not leveled up to level 35 or
see if you
whatever
can
I
beat him.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be level 15 and see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens, right?
Right, and that's the thing. So when you new game plus, all the enemies
I don't
health
want that.
goes up, and the
Screw
runes
that.
they drop goes up. I think they do a little bit more
really?
damage, and you can
Oh, okay.
you can new game 7 times, I think, and each time it gets a little
Damn.
harder.
Jeez.
After that, it stops like increasing.
And
But-
so what do you get to retain from
So you get all your equipment and weapons. You get all your spells. But anything that would progress the story is taken from you. So anything that would like unlock an elevator or any great
Gotcha.
runes or anything that is like story based is taken from you, and you would have to get again. But the thing is, like, that's intriguing in a way to be like, I already have all the equipment I need. I could just, I could run over to what's her face and kill her and respec and try something new for this playthrough, and then do the whole playthrough with a new build, right? But you're too strong. And then the boss fights are still just like on the bosses can one shot.
Well, it doesn't change the mechanics that were annoying in the first run through.
Well, and I think not the early bosses. Like, it would be fun to go like up to Margit, right? Margit.
There's Margit and there's Margot, right?
Right.
Oh,
There's
is there
Margit
two?
and
Okay.
Margot.
Spoilers, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Well, we
Margit
didn't
is
spoil
the
it
first
there.
one, right? The Stormvale one.
We didn't spoil it.
Margit is the first one, yeah.
Right.
Right. You actually see Margit more than once.
Yes, you do.
Oh,
I was going to say.
I wondered
yeah.
that because when you kill him, this isn't a big spoiler. He's still talking after he's gone.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just
So I'm like,
pieces
does that
out.
mean that he's not?
Yeah.
Does that mean that he's not dead?
See, like, look at these katanas, right? Like, I don't know the moveset of this dual wielding katana
What
that
is
well.
that
but
you just did?
These
That's the
frickin'
move that
her
kills
move.
us.
That's Melania's instant
that's
kill move.
Melania's thing. You get that move?
If you have her sword, yeah, which I have in my right hand there.
Yeah. It's
Does she
BS.
drop that when you kill her?
Yeah. No, her if you use her remembrance, you can get her sword.
I gotcha.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
That's crazy cool.
But, like,
That's,
these
Ken,
two
that's
swords-
the boss you're on now is Melania.
Yeah, and I don't need to beat her. Actually, I went past her and progressed the story. Like, you can finish the game without ever finding her. This whole
Really?
area is
Yeah, you
secret.
never have to come here. This is the
Technically.
Halig tree.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is the
Right.
Halig tree. Oh.
This is a secret area inside of a secret area, right?
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
behind a secret medallion that is
God,
hidden.
is that fucking cool? That is so
Yeah.
cool.
And no, but when Ben
Look at
says
this. Look at
secret
this
area,
rot.
this
Dang it.
where he is now is it takes about 3 or 4 hours to get through this legacy dungeon, and this legacy
Wow.
dungeon is within a large area, a little smaller than Limgrave or whatever, but
Wow.
less feature rich.
Yeah.
That's sort of what we were talking about while you were gone.
right.
Was
Okay.
some of the areas you get to end game don't have caves in every freaking corner like
Right.
they do in the beginning.
Right.
But yeah, it's cool stuff.
I see. I love that so far, but I guess that's a kind of a cool progression. I wonder if I would love it as much if it just didn't stop that, because that is one of my favorite parts right
Yeah.
now is that I can just keep going and like, oh wow, I just found this cave and there's 2 bosses inside of this, and they drop these
Right.
really awesome,
You're gonna get
talismans that
killed
I
by
never would have
these
found.
guys.
But yeah, I wonder if that would get like a little bit, you'd get a
I
little
think
bit
so.
fatigued of
I
that.
think
like,
so. I've played
oh.
games where you get to like a 4th or a 5th area and it opens up and it's like,
I gotta
I don't
do it
want to
again.
do this again.
You're
I don't want
just
to
like,
do
where's
this.
the boss? How do I get
Right.
out of here?
How
And
do
I
I
To
just-
be honest, this might be the first game that I can remember in a long time. I mean, I'm 50 hours in, which I'm not nearly as far as either of you, but that's still a lot of time to play
It's
a
lot of
game,
time.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm at the point where I'm kind of like, I feel like I want to beat this and then just do it all over again. And I
Yeah,
don't know that I've had
I
a game
agree.
that's made me feel that way.
I agree.
It's because like in the beginning, it's just that exploration, right? And the
Yeah.
fact that you're building your character and developing your play style. The first 2/3 of this game is the best video game I've ever played. Look at that!
Yeah.
I just lost
Yeah.
all the 100,000 runes or whatever that I had.
Yeah. And I think
Whatever.
you're right though. I think it is the best first 2/3, and I am 100% confident I missed a huge chunk of content in that first
Oh.
2/3.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
bet there's
for sure.
so much
Right.
hidden. There is no completing this game.
Like
Right.
you said,
Cannot
I
find it all.
I finished the game, and that is not just like straight to the end boss. That is every area and every major boss. And I was at 60 some hours. Ryan's at 50, and he's still in the second area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of if you think about like So if Limgrave, the Mistwood, and the Weeping Peninsula, and then Stormvale, let's call that one area. Then
Yeah.
Liurnia and the Raylucardi Academy and the Carrion Manor, and then up to Ronnie's
Gosh.
Towers. That's the second area,
Those
right?
areas are huge.
They're so
Yeah,
big. Then there's the
enormous.
Altus Plateau and the capital, and then there's also Mount Glamir and the Volcano Manor. Then there is the Forgotten Lands and the Mountaintop of the Giants, and there's also then the Consecrated Snowfields and the Halig Tree.
Where
then
about
there is
Caelid? Where's
oh,
Caelid?
and Caelid. I forgot about Caelid.
Caelid's-
Caelid comes.
Caelid's pretty small though. It doesn't have the.
Man, that's cool.
I don't know if it does because Caelid's so
I hate
scary.
Caelid. Yeah, I don't want to.
It probably does have just as much stuff, but
Yeah,
it's
you're
not a
probably
fun
right.
like lake to tool around in. It's like a freaking rot zone.
Yeah, it's like a
Caelid
rock
is
zone.
big. You think about like where you come into
Yeah, you're
Caelid,
right,
and then there's
actually.
the fort, and there's a couple of forts, and there's the whole Radon fight, and then there's the like rot swamp, and there's the ghost town, and then you go up above that, and there's the Dragon Barrow where all the dragons are, and there's a tower up there, and there's where that like death dude is, and then there's the like tower where you get Radon's rune. Like that thing's hard to get through.
Yeah.
You know, under the capital is the whole shunning grounds, and at the bottom of that you can fight a weaker version of Moog, and then you can go down even below that, down to the bottom where you can do the Fire Frenzy ending, and there's a secret door there that you can go through that brings you down to the roots, or the deep root. Shoot, what the heck is it called?
Yeah.
The deep root depths. Did you go down to the deep root depths?
No, I
where,
never
like,
even found
where
the well.
where Fia is, and like Godwin's body and all that stuff, and like I had to fight like Fia's champions and all this stuff.
Look at this
Like it just
move.
goes down and down and down and down, and then you can go over to like Volcano Manor, and it just looks like a little house where you talk to people in. Except for if you go through the secret wall, then there's an entire dungeon, an entire
I'll tell
legacy
you what.
dungeon hidden
Yeah.
behind a secret wall.
One secret wall separates you from what otherwise feels like a Kleenex box of a building.
Yeah, right.
Into another Stormvale castle, bigger than Stormvale castle.
Insanity.
Yeah,
And to
you
think
just
of these
gotta hit
developers that made this, and there's like, I don't know, what, half maybe the population of people who play this game will never find it.
the wall. Yep.
You know, all this work.
Look
Yeah.
at this. So you talk about scaling of runes. I have 90,000. I got in
right.
the last
And
2
you
minutes of
lost
fighting people here.
100,000.
Yeah.
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 Board to Play mentions too all the underground stuff. So there's the
Yeah.
Siofa River, there's Nokron Eternal City, there's Noxtella, there's the Rot Lake, and then there's the down.
Ugh.
Where the heck do you fight Blade? That's in Noxtella, you know.
Yeah.
And then you can go down even, and then you have to fight
There's
that
the Ainsel
frickin-
River. There's
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
Sit
Ainsel
down
River
there.
I found, right.
yeah.
there's so much stuff
I think I actually have
underground.
one of my videos is in the Ainsel River here.
I think I had one too where I like fight Blade. I liked Ken's video where he fought Blade and he just gets knocked across the whole frickin'
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
boss arena.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wanted to show, if you don't mind. This was the first. There's a video I have here of where I'm fighting this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wait, I think I get absolutely stomped.
Oh no,
by the
yeah.
Clean
Play,
Rot
play
Knights
this as
in
long as you
next
want
room.
to.
Oh, this is it. I know they're in there, so I'm like, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna like charge up because I've been in here before. This is not my first time in this area.
So rot and poison and blood loss. What is the difference between them? Is it just the rate
They
at which
all
you lose
suck.
health?
Rot is like super poison, right? So if you get inflicted with,
Jeez.
They
They
just
just
kill me.
block that.
They're
Oh,
they just
crazy.
block
man.
that and kill me. Hold on, I go back. I run back. I need my revenge. All right, this is
remember
my
I watched
revenge
this
on these
video.
stupid idiots. Like I know they're there, but they like jam me into this corner. I'm
Well,
trying to
there's
pick up.
two of them.
Gosh dang it!
Oh no.
Rot. Do you have that incantation that gets rid of it?
I do, but I can't
it's like
pop it
impossible
in
to
the
do
middle
it
of
right
this
here.
fight.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
There's also
I would just
two other
literally
normal
run
Yeah,
knights.
there's
Sorry.
lots of people in this room.
God, that
Well,
move is so cool looking.
Yeah. Just wait until it kills you 100 times and over.
Yeah, then you'll
There.
you'll be so in love
You
with
will
it.
not think it's that cool.
Oh, I didn't kill the
that-
first one.
ugh.
Oh well. See,
So
that
I
was
don't-
I rolled too early there. See, that's the big thing. I found a lot of times The enemies are
Yeah.
really good at catching you at the end of your roll if you roll
Well, I mean,
too soon.
their animations are designed to make you do that, right?
Right.
Because he brings the sword up real quick, and then they pause.
Right.
You
you
roll,
react.
and then he whacks,
Yep.
right? And
Yeah.
you're right where he needs you to be to kill
Yep.
you.
The play
Yeah.
testing involved in that is
Yeah.
really interesting to think about. I've heard some people say that they rolled this game out too early. I don't know if you've
wouldn't
heard
say
anything about that.
I
It
don't
seems
know.
it seems ridiculous to me, because to me this game seems polished in a lot of ways. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
perfect, right? No game is
of course
perfect.
not.
But it's not buggy.
I've
it's not
never gone through it
broken.
and been like, "Oh, there's some messed up stuff here."
Yeah, no.
One time I was fighting one of those guys on horseback that only come out at nighttime.
Something night. Sentinel
Yeah.
night
Yeah,
or
the
The
Black
night
Knights or whatever.
the sentinels or
night
whatever. Yeah.
cavalry. That's what they are.
The night cavalry, yeah. I was fighting one of those guys, and I was just grinding him. I was like on my horse, circling him, and then every once in a while I'd stop and be like, "Whew!" and shoot a thing. Oh yeah, okay. So this is this thing, and the game crashed. The only time it's crashed for me, it crashed, and he was dead. He was like, like
no.
2 hits would have killed him, and I had been fighting him for like 15 minutes.
no.
One of the guy,
That
and it just
sucks.
crashed.
Yeah.
And it was
had a
right
couple-
after that happened. I Googled and I was like, does the game crash for anybody while fighting these things? And a lot of the things that came up were like, this game was released way too early. It
No.
crashes every 10 minutes. And I was like, oh no. And it hasn't crashed
no.
since. And that was like
No.
30 hours ago.
Now
I've had
I
2 or
did
3
have
crashes. Yeah, but
I had a problem where my game was
Scope of the
crashing
game.
consistently every time it loaded a cutscene of a certain
that's
boss.
right. That's right.
No matter
Oh.
what I did, and I was like, I don't know what, do I need to leave? Do I need to come back? Is it the rune amount I have with the equipment I have?
I
It's just
hated
some
this
sort of
boss.
random
He's not even
RAM
a
thing
boss.
that's like. But what it was
You're right.
was my computer. I have been having some computer issues, and I was reinstalling the game, and my computer crashed again. And I think it messed up the download, and all I had to do
Yeah.
was verify the files in Steam, and it was like, actually, a couple of your files are messed up, and it fixed it, and then it was no problem.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's nice.
But I have had a number of weird computer issues lately because, like, we were trying to play the new Borderlands game, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and it kept having a problem with one of the DirectX DLLs, and I actually had to go get the DLL file from Emily's computer where it was working and put it on mine, and then it worked fine.
Crazy.
Like, it's just I've had so many weird problems lately.
Yeah, that is really weird.
Huh.
But I agree with what Joe
Up with that
says.
bow.
Significantly more polished than any other game that has come out
Yes,
recently.
I
don't. You
agree.
can't argue with that. You
Yeah.
cannot.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's got
They've done
it's
such
got
a good job.
optimization issues. I think it needs to
Yeah.
be like, because the frames drop regularly for me.
Yeah.
But the game is huge. The game is huge. And you can ride for hours with no load scenes.
Oh, hey Jeff.
Like, so
Sorry, Ken, go ahead.
I'll give him a pass. No, you're fine. I had to fight this guy maybe 30 times, I think. This guy
I
Yeah,
remember-
he was tough for
nuts.
me. He
I
was tough
think-
for
did
me.
Yeah.
I remember I watched Ben. It might have been both. You might have both had done one. So here's an example where I'm out of health, but I put on my Wondrous Physic, and you can see it's going to just increase. It's going to bring my health back.
Oh yeah.
So-
Heals
Oh,
you.
it's like
all
a
I
slow
have-
heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all I have now is FP.
Look at how tiny your bars are. Did you see my health
Right.
bar? It's like
Jeez
half.
Louise.
This was This
This is like
well,
high risk. Playing on.
I
new
didn't know
game
what the heck
plus
this place
7.
was until I walked in here and I was like, oh, I think this is that place that Ben and Ken were. So I got this sword. It does this thing where it fires a glintstone pebble. The sword does, and then if you R2, it goes immediately from the glintstone pebble into this thrust attack that really deals a lot of damage. And it's really fun. There she goes.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, this game is not even 50 gigs, and it's one of the
Yeah.
biggest, best open
Yes,
worlds
how?
out there.
And
You
the
know?
load
Yeah.
times are really not that bad.
They're great.
Mm-hmm.
Load times are fantastic.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that because that
Yeah.
could kill the game. Because
Yep.
you have to, you're constantly going to new areas, and it just feels very seamless.
Yeah.
So
you
I
know?
do think, when we did our initial thoughts, my thing was this is a 10 out of 10. There's no doubt. This is the best game that I've ever played. The excitement in the beginning where everything is dangerous and
Yeah.
everything is interesting and all the exploration is rewarding is the best part about this game.
Yeah.
And the later stuff of like the big dungeons, and I just keep thinking back to Volcano Manor. I keep thinking back to Fair Missoula. I keep thinking back to the Halig Tree
The capital.
and the capital
Like,
and
oh
the
my
shunning
gosh.
grounds. The
All places
thing,
I haven't even seen yet.
Yeah,
on
the,
the
capital
later
is
game,
so cool.
it
It's so
really
tense.
is.
It's so tense.
I loved all of the Souls like levels later in the game. So in the beginning, it's this like, who am I going to be? What am I going to be? How am I going to build my character? What am I going to find? And what's around every corner? And later was like, I am this character, and I'm in these scary places, and I'm dealing with these hard problems. And I loved that part of the game
Oh, look
too.
at how fast he's going to kill this guy. Are you kidding
give
me?
me a break!
Isn't that
I watched
sweet
you do this live.
You
I was so mad.
Was that the first try?
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Are
first try.
you
Well,
kidding me?
It
Oh,
seemed like when
man.
I glintstone pebbled him, it would disrupt him.
He
And then
staggers
again,
pretty hard
and then,
there.
Yeah, and then you go right into the.
Yeah.
He would go right into that thrust, and he
That's-
couldn't. Because I watched you guys play, and it seemed like you would go and attack him, and he would just poof
He
away.
just disappeared.
Yeah.
yeah,
he
he just like you hit him
teleport.
once, and then he's just gone, and then he's firing shit at you from afar.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was freaked out, worried about. But it seemed like when I did this weird attack with this sword I
Wow.
found, it staggered him, and he wasn't able to teleport.
Must be
and
weak to
yeah, he
magic
just-
or
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Spoiler from
Yeah.
board to play.
I had to flip the building to even kill him.
It doesn't matter if you kill him when the building's right side up. You still got to kill him again when it's upside
You
down.
do? He comes back?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Of course.
something. Is it him or is it a different one? It
Oh, it's
doesn't
still
matter.
him.
Is it?
It's him.
You know
I
what I
like
did
what
when
you
you-
find at the top of the tower when you flip it over. That was a
When you-
surprise to me.
Here's a hot tip for you, Ryan. It's not going
Okay.
to help you because you're magic and you're
Yeah.
ranged. You fight him again, and he can fall off a ledge, which is how I killed him. He jumped back
man.
and fell
He
off.
did,
a
and then just
ledge.
fell off
Yeah.
and died, and you were like, all right, go me.
Yeah, that was
Hey,
payback
that's-
for the first 30 times I tried to
right.
kill you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man, that's cool.
It-
That's cool that that game does stuff like that, though.
So the only thing I end up with in this game is that, building out my character was some of the most fun. And I scratched the tiniest little surface of the iceberg of the
Right.
possibilities of building a character. But I have already, I've played the whole game, right? So
Yeah.
restarting a new game would just be to do that part of it. To be scared again,
Yes.
to be weak
Yeah.
again, and to play a new way.
Yeah.
But I would never get to play through the what's around this corner and what's hiding back here. But it's still
enough
good
there for
enough
you to
that I
find.
want.
Yeah, I think Ken's right about that. There's probably a lot. I mean, you went through it in 60 hours. This isn't, rude to say you probably missed a shit ton of stuff.
Of course
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I
So
beat
you
it in
would- you
60
might
hours.
have-
I missed a ton of stuff.
So
Yeah.
you might have that feeling more than you think going
Yeah.
back and playing it again as you discover new dungeon after new dungeon or new cavern after
Yeah.
new cavern.
Right.
Well,
Well, and so, exactly. I played dual curved greatswords, which scaled mainly with dex. My dex is like 60. And which makes it easy for me to switch to katanas, which also scale with dex. But
Wow.
so I want to play again. Do I want to play an int-based mage like you're playing? Do I want to play a faith-based guy? Do I want
Yeah,
to
do
play like spear and
incantations.
shield, heavy armor?
yeah.
Do I want to play like a dragon-based arcane magic guy? That would be cool too. Like then it's like worthwhile to kill the dragons and get the dragon hearts because you
Right.
get to unlock the new
Yeah, I
dragon
got
spells.
I got
Yes.
8 dragon hearts that are worthless to me.
Yeah, I know. I
I
was so
can't cast any of
disappointed
the
when I
spells.
killed my first
Yeah.
dragon. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
there's no way I'll ever cast this ever.
Yeah.
They're probably
Well-
so good.
And that's the thing is like, okay, let's say I wanted to do like a faith-based fire magic thing.
Yeah.
And the best sword for that is the one you get from Rykard's Remembrance. So then do I rush to the Volcano Manor and get it? Or do I
Boy,
work my way
right.
there?
Good luck rushing to the volcano.
I would
Manor.
die, but it would be so hard again. And that's the thing is like in the end game, it gets weird. Crucible nights are always hard. There's
Yes.
that never
There's
that never changes.
But like that's the definition of a good boss, right? The problem with the end game bosses, if there is one, is that they feel cheap, right?
The a slight spoiler for the end. Like you have to do 2 boss fights. It's not just 2 phases. It's essentially like 2 whole boss fights where you do a whole health bar of one guy, and then you do the whole health bar of another.
I hate that. Gosh,
And
that
you're
sounds
just
so terrible.
But and the thing about Melania is like when we fight Melania, it's a bit that way. Except as long as she doesn't hit you, you
You're
can
fine.
kill her pretty quick.
can-
but
yeah,
if she
you
hits
can-
you, every hit she hits you with heals her.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's still some. I never fought the 2 gargoyles. There's bosses out there. The ice dragon that's in the mountaintop of the giants. I ran around him.
Didn't
It
get
was
him?
too hard.
I went back and got him.
Maybe I got to go back. I did
Here's,
go back and
yeah.
kill the one on the bridge in Caelid.
Let me.
How many
let me
NPC
share-
storylines have you guys, gone through?
I did
I'm glad
Ronnie's.
you asked, actually.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I did Ronnie's all the way through, and I did Millicent's all the way through, and that's
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked that.
Just a little bit.
You gotta turn us down. So this is us trying to fight her.
Oh, this is
Spoilers.
us. You don't want to
Yeah.
listen to us talking to each other?
And I'm
Oh,
dead.
this is you guys fighting. Oh, okay.
And I'm dead.
Oh no.
So-
So you can't summon also. It's just you two and that's
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
You can summon in up to 2 people, I think.
So 3 total.
So Ryan, if you want to come fight Melania,
it.
Yeah.
So we could do it too, huh? What do I get if we win? Do we
Well,
just get a
you would-
percentage
you get a
of,
bunch of
of the
you would
drop?
get 100,000 runes probably.
Yeah.
Damn.
What
That'd be
was I gonna
great.
say?
What a rune farm that would be for me. Go up 4
what did-
levels.
What did you just ask? I'm sorry.
Oh wait, I want to see
Oh,
this
which
from your
NPC
side. I only
storylines
ever
that
get
you
summoned
finished?
in.
Yeah,
all the way
so
through.
I couldn't tell you because I think my biggest complaint about this game is also a strength in that there's no quest log whatsoever.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. And
Right.
I don't want Assassin's Creed markers. I don't want, like here's where you go but the problem is in a 100-hour game, which is what it's going to take me to beat it, you can totally lose track of storylines because there's nothing there to remind you.
Right.
There's not even I think I was telling you, Ben, just give me a journal that says,
Yes.
okay, here's my conversation with Ronnie. I don't know if Ronnie has a quest. You don't have to tell me. Don't say, this is the Ronnie quest or whatever. Just tell me what she said so I can go
Right.
back and read it and say, oh, wow, she actually told me to go to this tower.
Kind of
And I
like
never did it.
what's the not the one before Oblivion?
Marvel.
Oblivion.
Morrowind. Morrowind had a quest journal log, and it would be
Yeah.
like you need to go down past this west down the river past this stone,
Right.
and you'll find some
Perfect.
mushrooms. I just wish it would
Perfect.
write down like
Just
you need
write
to
it
go to
down.
Nokron City to get the treasure of Nokron City. It wouldn't tell
Yeah.
me where that is or how to get there. Just tell me the
This
last
is what you
thing
need,
that
and
she
this is
told
where
me.
it is. I have a
Yeah.
similar complaint, and maybe this isn't a complaint, but there was a lot of times where I went into like a cavern, and boom, it shows on my map. Okay, you went to this catacomb, and I walked in and I got the sight of grace and I got my ass handed to me, and I was like, okay, I can't do that yet, and I left.
Right.
It happened like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like,
Right.
man, it would be cool if on the map there was somewhere that said like, you haven't done everything.
You didn't
here
do it yet.
Where
Yeah, you
was
didn't.
it?
Shit.
Yeah, you didn't do it because my map's now dotted with a shit ton of sites of grace, and I'm like, crap. Which did I go
I
in
don't-
there?
Yeah.
I don't remember if
agree.
I actually beat the boss in there or did any of that. And it would be cool if
Yeah.
there was.
How do we
Just I didn't
not
have
beat
to
her this
notate.
time? Well, look at her health right now.
Look at how close we got.
How do we not
this
win
is-
this?
Because
Is
she
this the-
uses.
Oh,
This
she's
is her
already
second
changed.
phase.
This is-
Like we got it. Where she's
she
done.
has
We're gonna
these,
win.
They're like spirit versions of herself that come down and start
Look,
attacking.
good attack. Yep.
Oh.
Look at this.
And they just go right through me.
nice.
I think
If
this
nice.
is the first time. Right here.
If she kills one of you,
No.
the other one's fine to keep
No,
going.
just
or if
me.
Ken dies, it's
the
over.
host.
Ken dies,
if
it's
the host
done.
dies, yeah.
Got it.
She
I
just-
needed to switch the view here so I can see the health bar. See, this is No, we're good. We're good. We're still good. How do we
Still
not
okay?
win this time? Tell
Right,
me.
you got eight.
Right.
You got 8 flasks still.
Phase 2. This is where she's going to do this little thing, and they just run right through me. Yep.
I still got my bubble.
I didn't even see them.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
God.
this is the thing. She's almost dead. Now look, I almost
You
kill her
have
here
your
because I didn't know you died, and then
Yeah.
it
Oh.
teleports me out, and I was like, God,
You're
you
like,
kidding me?
no.
Yeah.
I was like, I had her.
Oh.
She had never hit me once that whole fight.
Wow. Have you thought about a strategy of just
Ah.
when she's at that point, let Ken go hide in the corner, and then Ben just
It
do what he
happens so
can until
fast,
he's dead?
though, right?
It's just you
Yeah.
can't control her aggro is the thing, and a lot of times she'll aggro me and kill me, and now Ken has to fight
And then it's-
her
yeah,
with more
it
health, and he
defeats
can't
on his
summon.
own. Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Check the physic.
So
just
you
to
never
make
get
sure.
more than 2 slots for your physic?
That's a good
No.
question. I don't know.
It's always two.
Is it? Okay.
You get way more
Because
stuff
you
you
get
can put
2
in there.
very early.
Yeah,
You got
do.
to. There is. I got the thing,
Starts
Ryan.
with
You'd
2,
probably like
right?
this. That for
Oh, it
10
does? Maybe you're
seconds.
right.
I think-
Maybe you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
10 seconds, you have 0 FE cost to do whatever you want.
Oh, wow.
So you can like shoot a laser beam or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, it's just summon a summon that I can't afford because
that's a good idea.
my FP
Right.
is like 70, and some of them cost like 130. So
Right.
Here, let
That's
me
a good thing
switch
about having
because
high
it's just gonna
FP.
be us.
Is I can summon all the
Dying to
kick-ass
her
ones. I got
over
this
and
one called
over.
Loodle the Headless, and
Oh,
she
she's
costs
pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like 105 or 107 to bring in,
You can,
but she's really badass.
yeah. The amount you have to spend on your summon is generally an indicator of how good they are, right? So
Yeah, right.
that's me
Oh, Jeff's
waiting
in
to
here.
get
What's up,
charged
dude?
up. Here we go. Check this out. I like
Wearing
the
that damn
co-op.
fat suit.
The co-op is fun.
the co-op is fun. It makes 30 tries on a boss more tolerable. That's for sure.
Right, because we were on voice chat. We were on voice chat, and we were just like goofing around. Like,
Yeah.
even if we lost, it was still fun. We'll watch one more. So I want to watch this attempt. I bet we die in the first
Yeah,
5
it's probably
seconds. It
super
seemed like they
fast.
were getting harder and harder as they went.
We do really well on the first 3 attempts, and then it's over after that. Because you get hungry and you get
Right.
tired of doing this little dance.
You start making stupid mistakes. Oh, it's interesting. Look, it still shows me like I have my bubble, but I definitely don't because
She smacked you a few times.
she
yeah.
smacked me there.
I love how you ignite your sword in flame like Beric Dondarrion.
There it is.
Yeah, this is it. What do you do about this? Like, I don't know what you can do. She's still going.
Yeah, you could like block it once
Well, the
or
problem
roll
with
out
her,
of the way once.
I have a super powered shield with like an Ashes of War that buffs me. With her, any hit she makes, she heals, regardless of if it damages you. So if I block every single one of those, her health just goes whoop. She just she's at full health after that.
I know, though. Like I said, the way I beat her was my mimic could tank that attack because the summons are way more tankier than you are.
Yes.
Right, so that he would pull aggro, he would get that attack, and then I would just run up and stab her a whole bunch. And
right after she does
when I'm Ken's summon or he's mine, it's not the same because you just get immediately wiped out by it.
Right.
But
Have
this
you
is the
done any
hardest
crafting?
boss in the game.
Joe wants to know: have you guys done any crafting?
Not
I've done
really.
0.
No.
0.
No, Ken has to craft the
I gotta
fingers so he can
craft
summon
stuff to
me.
get him in here, but that's it. No,
That's
dude,
the
the crafting.
Oh, you
is,
spend one of those fingers every time you summon him in?
Yeah.
The Ken has to spend it looks almost like a pocket watch. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know, a folding finger or something.
Right.
But I think I had enough stuff to craft like 45 of them, which
Oh, wow.
is
Yeah,
about, you probably need 200 to beat this boss. So, no, but it's the most common flower in the game. I think
Got
the Erd leaf.
Oh,
You just
okay.
go find those. Yeah.
Well, that's what's funny about this game again is I've been playing for 50 hours now, and I've no idea how to even craft. I don't even know how to do it.
Just do it from the menu.
You just
hit
go to
start.
go to the inventory menu. It says craft item.
I think
As long as you bought the crafting kit from the first merchant that you
I have
meet
the
in that
crafting
first.
kit.
Oh, then
So
you just
you're just making an item from one of those books. Do you go to the book?
no. So
No.
the books unlock more recipes for you, but when you go to the crafting menu,
Yeah.
You just
there's
hit
stuff-
start.
it's all in there.
Below equipment will be item crafting.
I see. So there's stuff in there, and it'll be like you can make this or you
A
can't.
whole bunch of stuff. Like I've crafted blood grease and fire grease and fire bombs and that kind of stuff.
Is that what you're Barrack Dondarrying onto your sword?
No,
The
that's
fire
a
grease?
spell actually, because that spell does fire and blood damage, and the blood grease just does blood loss. But the nice thing is, if you have the mimic summon, he has all your inventory too. So if you craft like fire bombs and a bunch of other little things, he uses them, which is kind of cool. I don't typically use them because I'm not switching through my inventory in the middle of a fight. I'm either pressing roll or attack. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, here we
roll out
go.
of
What's
the
your
way.
talisman? So Ken, do you do the turtle? I do the turtle.
Well, this is way different than what I normally do, because normally I'm spec'd for shield and counter.
Oh, I gotcha. But you can't shield
You
Melania
can't counter
because she
her
just heals.
stuff.
Yeah,
She just heals. There's no point.
I only have 2, and mine are the one that raises FP, maximum FP,
Yeah.
and then the one that raises HP. Those are my 2
Nice.
that I have.
That's all you
When
need.
I do this fat guy with the 2 great swords, I have to do the Great Jar Arsenal to get them.
So
up
you
plus
can be
equip
medium load.
Yeah.
Plus, I do the Erdtree's Favor +1, so I have more equip load, and then I do plus damage for blood loss, and then the turtle. Your stamina recovers faster. That is
Yeah.
with
the
2
turtle
swords.
is one of the best ones.
The
I had that
turtle
one
is
for a
so
while,
key.
yeah.
The turtle, like if you're doing 2 of anything,
it's
you need the
super
turtle
early
because it
game.
costs so much stamina to do an attack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like watch Ken here when he does an attack. It's like, look at now he's
Yeah,
all the way
almost-
right. He only did 3 attacks.
Whoop. Man, I'm slamming B in my head.
Right.
Hit her now! Hit her
way
now!
out of
Yeah.
stamina. way beyond.
Does she only do that kick-ass attack when she's in her second form?
No, it's first form. Here it is right here.
Wow.
Ben's
Yeah,
gonna get
she does it. She's just
eaten
gonna
alive.
look. I was like, "What do I do? What do I do?" I'm
You got
rolling
away
around.
from it though.
Yeah,
Well,
how did
that's-
she do that.
My my auto. I have a auto heal in my physic. So if one of my things
Yeah.
in my physic flask is if I get almost dead, it heals me. And I only did that for this fight. Typically, I don't have.
Does
that.
it only happen once, or does it happen as long as that thing is?
It's just once. so
Just
it's like
once,
it.
yeah.
Same thing with the bubble. Once you get hit, the bubble
Right,
goes
your
away.
bubble's
Once
gone,
it's like a 2-minute thing.
How is
I
your
think
bubble still on though?
I think it's
I
just
think it's
because
it shouldn't be there.
it shouldn't.
Yeah.
I see.
And she's gonna kill me.
I do like the co-op though.
It's okay.
It's just weird how you like trigger it.
Yeah.
It is weird.
It's weird that I have to put down a summon sign somewhere in the world specifically that I can I have to be standing in the same place Ken
Well-
is so he can see it.
Right.
Yeah.
That is cool. That part of it is cool.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Have you guys been invaded by anybody? In,
Oh, this is
in
where
a
you
real
dropped.
person.
This would have been the one we won too if
Don't
it hadn't
think
freaking
so.
dropped me out.
Not a
No, I've
real
never been
person.
invaded. I think you have to.
Early game, there's plenty of NPC
NPC
invaders.
ones. Yes.
Yeah.
I fought a bunch of them.
These are those things she sends, and I don't know how to dodge them. Man.
At least they look like they could be dodged, right? Like you could.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an attack, an attack, an attack. That one where she's like.
Yeah,
I don't know what
you're
you're
right.
supposed to do about that. I honestly don't know how you block it. That's
know.
why I like doing it to enemies.
We don't want to watch this the rest
Yeah.
of the night here. Get out of get us out of this. I lived this. I don't need to see it again.
I was kind of shooting for like maybe we'd be like an hour and a half on this. And so I could sit here and watch you guys play all night. I really
That's
could. I
true.
love this game. I almost like now that I've played through a lot of it, I almost just want to watch you play or play with you or just talk about it even more, right? I just want to like I loved the world so much that I could just sit and watch play. But
I agree.
I
I'm
think,
bummed that you're done with it now because I always look forward to here's another 45-minute video Ben just put out on YouTube. Hell yeah, here I go.
well, I need
now
to
that's
start
over.
over as a
Yeah,
new
start
build.
over, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, start over. I
You
would
gotta
love
go
to watch
mage.
that.
Or do
Yeah.
something like an arcane build. Dragon arcane.
That would be cool,
Yeah,
right?
that
Like
would
just
be
dragon
awesome.
arts. Well, so let's wrap it up because we said a lot of stuff. I had some complaints about end game bosses, but we had a lot of good things about to say the beginning of the game. So what if we had to wrap it up? If each of you guys had to wrap up your thoughts on this game, where you are now, like what do you think about it? Ken, you're first.
Okay. I think it's undeniably well made and well thought out and well crafted, and the love is there in terms of what they made. I'm a little pulled back on it just because late game it becomes different than the initial offering. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I think there are a lot of people who will get to late game and fall off because they're not going to deal with the bullshit bosses, quite frankly.
I'm nervous about that.
I am as well. That's all. I don't know. Otherwise, I think it's good. I don't know how you solve that problem other than not having those bosses in it. Better designed bosses.
Right. And I think the thing is, when the potential for end game builds, you think about it like an upside down tree, right? Is that like the potential for min-maxing, the potential for taking this item to some crazy limit and this summon to be able to do this and I can do that. How do you balance the end game bosses against that? Against something that is good against a super powerful mage is just as good against a dual wielding greatsword smashing guy is just as good against a guy who's breathing fire breath against you.
That's fair.
And so I think that the strengths of the early game hurt the late game a little bit because the bosses trying to keep up they almost get like cheap. And I agree. I think the word like they kind of get like bullshitty. Like they really do.
Yeah.
The end game
like
bosses
that,
are
like that Millennia
bullshitty.
attack as an example.
Yeah, I mean, what you can't do anything against that. If you live, she healed, and you're back to where you started, right? So
she heals too. Huh.
Well, every time she hits you, even through the shield, she heals.
Oh,
Blocks heal her. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How do you make a better version? I don't know. I don't like to criticize without offering some sort of solution, but I don't know.
I still don't think it makes it not 10 out of 10.
It's a 9.5.
It's so good through and through. Even if the end game can be frustrating, the just experience of the beginning is something that I have not had in a video game in so long.
That's true.
That I couldn't ever not recommend this game as something worth trying.
Yeah, that's fair. Even if you were curious and you played 30 hours, you'd get your money worth, in my opinion. Played 15 hours, you'd get it worth. Yeah.
So, Ryan, have we dissuaded you at all? I hope not. Because like I said, I liked the level design of the late game. The Volcano Manor, the Capital, the Shunning Grounds, the Faramazula, the Halig Tree. It gets so much cooler. It just gets cooler and cooler if you just ignore a couple of one or two bullshitty bosses.
Well, assuming you can get past them, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think... You don't get gate kept until the very end, really.
Right, like Malekith. You cannot get to the end game without beating Malekith. And Malekith is very hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, these were all things that were reasons I didn't want to play to begin with.
Right.
And I kind of knew that going in that there was going to be it's like in that Souls universe, right? So I know that there's going to be some sort of boss grind. But what I will say is 50 hours in, I've said that 100 times, and I'm on the Liurnia of the Lakes area. Yeah. This game has completely won me over. And I messaged Ben the other day and I was like, look, I'm not ready to call this like the best game that's ever been made, but it would be a difficult conversation for me to argue. If somebody was like, "Look, this is the best game that's ever been created," it'd be hard for me to argue with it because I think the amount of content that is in this game, first of all, I think is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And so it's an achievement there, whether I like it or not. But the amount of fun that I'm having right now exploring the enormity of this world in just these two areas. I don't know if it was Ben or Ken that just said this. You tool around for 30 hours and you get your money's worth. I think Ken said that. I feel like already I am playing with house money. You know what I mean? I feel like I've gotten my money's worth. I could have spent $200 on this game, and I feel like I've gotten my money's worth playing this. And I'm not even 1/10 of the way through the actual story of the thing. And I am like so looking forward to what's the next catacomb I'm gonna come into. I'm going into Raya Lucaria. What am I gonna find like I found in Stormvale Castle?
Oh man,
that's gonna lead me to this little spot that I would never have found otherwise. Or am I gonna miss something? And that's gonna nag at me. And then I'm gonna go online and be like, all right, what are all the places I missed in Raya Lucaria so I can go back in and check them out. And I'm just so enamored in a way that I didn't think I would be. And I was like trying not to be because I never wanted to play Dark Souls or Bloodborne or Sekiro. And then listening to the two of you talk about how much you loved it, and then, Board to Play loves it. And a lot of people that come into my chat while I'm playing are like, they're way farther than I am. And, it's so great. I love it so much. And I might also love it because it's the zeitgeist right now. It's like the thing that everybody's into. You guys are both into it. Board to Play's into it. Joe, everybody's in. It's like the thing that everyone is. It's gotten everybody. And so that's also part of the fun of it too,
That's true.
Right.
So I don't know exactly where my love for it lies or where it will eventually. But right now, in this moment, it's the best game I've played in years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I completely agree, right? And I just hearing like you're having so much fun and then thinking you haven't been like in the grandeur of the capital. You haven't been lost in the sewers, in the shunning grounds. You haven't been intrigued by the mysterious dungeons of the Volcano Manor or gone down into like Noxtella and all the underground stuff.
Yeah, I've done
and then
man.
up in the mountains, there's like you have so much adventure still to have. And that's the thing about this game is it actually feels like an adventure. It really feels like an adventure. It's exploration that has consequence and has real reward. And there's just like no other game that I've played in a long time that ever made me feel like that. Is it the best game ever made? It's in the conversation, right? It's no, like,
Which is crazy to think about because I don't even know who else is in that category of best game
you're
ever
right.
made.
There's so
Right.
many. But it's also
Yeah.
been 5 weeks and we're saying this. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
But I mean, but everybody else is saying it too, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, wow, us three are really into this.
True.
It came out hot. Everybody likes it. I mean, it has fair criticisms here and there, but
Sure.
I mean, gosh, greatest game ever made. I don't know how
It
you
could be. I'll tell you, I loved Breath of the Wild. I thought Breath of the Wild was like, I'm like, this
Me
is
too.
maybe one of the best designed games that I, ever. Best Zelda I've ever played since, Ocarina of Time. And I think Elden Ring is far superior
It's probably better.
to
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild personally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm a Nintendo fanboy,
Well, and
by the way.
yeah, we don't have to get into it, but I think a lot of what pays off for this game is risk taking for Dark Souls fans and people who are new to it, because I've heard very little from either group that wasn't into it. And I think the fact that they were able to capture existing Dark Souls fans and say, there's a few things that make this easier, but boy, does it make it way more accessible. And,
right.
Right.
I would be very curious to see the sales numbers on From Software titles, because I bet it like spiked.
Oh, had
Just
to.
absolutely.
You mean the other games? Yeah.
Yeah, they
Right.
do fine, and then just like through
Right, they
the
just
roof
shot
on
through
this.
the roof.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think Elden Ring has outsold Dark Souls 3 already.
Oh,
by,
I'm sure.
by far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's that self. It's like I say. It's like that self. You can play this game as you can make it as easy or hard as you want. Like the Souls purists, maybe the guys who are like, they beat Sekiro with like like no hit. You know what I mean? Like the hardest game ever. Those guys can play the game. No summons. I'm not going to summon anybody.
Just
don't
use all that stuff. Yeah.
And then
Right.
it becomes just as hard as those other games.
Well, we could pull up a video of somebody beating Melania. Here's me and Ken at levels 150 or whatever, getting
show
creamed
us.
by her. And there's a level 1 wretch fighting Melania, no hit.
Level
like, go look
1
it up.
wretch.
Level 1 wretch,
Come
no
on.
hit, Melania.
Show
Yeah,
us right now. I would love
I'll have to
watch
go
that.
look. And
I would love
way.
to see that.
We'll pull that up in a second. I will wrap up the audio version of this show first, and then I'll go
Sure,
pull that up.
Sure.
But yeah, is this the greatest game ever made? I'm not going to make that argument, but it's certainly the game that has enraptured me the most in a very long time, and it was something I couldn't put down and couldn't stop thinking about. And I do think the end game a little bit was like, are you effing kidding me? Like after all this, after all that I've been through, this
That's the thing.
is
It's
the
a little-
grind I got to go through at the end through this. But you know what? It doesn't matter because the other 95% of the game is some of the best gaming I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I highly, highly recommend this game.
Especially if you're not a Dark Souls fan. Especially if you're not a Dark Souls fan.
Right. There's 3 of us right here who have never played a Dark Souls game. Well, maybe not.
I
you, Ken,
hate
don't know.
those games. I tried one
yeah,
of them.
I would
and
never.
I said I would never play another one again.
Right.
It's garbage.
I'm with you. I don't know. I want nothing to do with those games. Again, I hate the idea of just you just have to grind for 2 hours to beat a boss and then finally you win. I hate that idea more than anything. And the 3 of us who are not Dark Souls players are sitting here talking about this could possibly be the best game of all time. So
Cracked
they
it
obviously, they figured out how to reach a wider audience.
All right, well, I think I'll wrap the audio show up there. So thanks everybody for tuning in live. If you want to see a video version of this, you can go find it on the Date Night Dice YouTube. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Good night.
Good night. All right, let me find this level 1 wretch. This is going to just embarrass us
YouTube
here.
video
I
in
cannot
there?
wait to see this.
Here we go.
That doesn't make any sense. How does he dodge anything?
Yeah, we're gonna we'll figure out how to get out of
wait a
that
minute.
attack.
For level 1 wretch, does that mean he played the entire game like this, never leveling
Yes.
up?
He started a level 1. The nice thing about Wretch is it starts at level 1, but you start with 10 in every stat. So you actually get like a bonus, but you start with no
parry
starting
that?
So he's
equipment.
parrying her. Okay.
Which is impossibly hard to do.
I think if you land enough
Jeez.
parries to it,
He didn't know that.
staggers.
Yeah, it
Wait,
must.
so how is he taking damage like this off her? Does he have a blood loss thing or?
I guess a perfect parry doesn't
'Cause
heal
of-
her.
Okay, because I'm like a level 1. How is he doing that much damage to her?
His weapon might be leveled up.
Okay.
That's
Because
true.
when you level up a weapon, its damage goes up and its scaling goes up, but you're just only getting half of the benefit then. Because typically, if you look
Yeah.
at like I have a plus 10 weapon, about half of the damage
Oh, what's
is
he do here?
he
So he
just
just
runs
runs.
away, and then
He sees the
dodges
animation start
forward.
and he runs away.
So the first one you run away, the second half you dodge
You have to
through
dodge
it, the
into
third
it.
one you run away.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is I guess you could like learn how
So
to
he's
dodge
just
that.
parrying. He's parrying. That's all he's doing.
Jeez,
and then
how
it
do you
How
staggers
many?
her.
I want to know how many tries this took, because
I
mean-
there's no way you land that parry. Every one of these parries.
I can't land a
perfectly
parry
first
against
try.
a skeleton.
Right.
I can see his runes over there in the corner, so this is not his
yeah,
first
that's
try.
the thing. If she hits him once, he's dead.
Dead. Yeah,
Right.
dead. He has to no hit her. Yeah.
Well, we were doing better than this. We were already dead by now.
Yeah. So he ran away.
Then he
rolled
dodges
through
through.
it and then run away.
So what, the
Wow.
the third part, he just stands there and she just.
It does look almost fake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, but like.
No, I know, but it's like that's how good he is, you know. How does he parries it every time?
Yeah.
How's he deal with her second phase?
She's got to feel pissed off getting parried. By
Oh, she does have a
She
big
does it
move.
in the second? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, that's a bunch
Wow.
of bullshit.
That's
That's
how
what that
angry
is.
she is.
The thing is, so this is impressive, right? But if any of these hits land, he dies. But the
Dies.
thing is, if any of those hits land on our level 150 characters,
We also
they
die.
also die. That's what I mean.
That sucks. You're right. That
Is-
does suck.
Is that there?
That's
and
not
I have invested a significant amount of my level stats into endurance so that I can wear heavy armor, and it
Right.
doesn't make a difference. I would die just as fast if I was naked as if I have the heaviest armor in the game on. And
So it's more
that's-
just about aesthetics than.
Oh, that's not necessarily true. Like, you are a little bit more tanky
Yeah,
with that
sure.
stuff. Like, maybe I could take 3 hits instead of 2. But it's not 5 hits instead of 2. Like, from 0 armor to heaviest armor in the game, which I wish it was. I wish it was like 5 hits instead of 2, instead of like 3 hits instead of 2. You know what I mean?
Is that a generally like a widely accepted critique?
I don't know.
Because I
And
wonder
it's
if that's
just-
something they could change, with an update.
I don't even know. Like, I don't even learn anything from watching this. Like,
Oh, it makes me mad.
Well, yeah, because he's just parrying, and that's impossible. He's literally just parrying, and then she staggers
Yeah.
or whatever
All you
that's
gotta
called.
do is do this thing that I can't
That
do
nobody can do,
repeatedly
yeah.
with immaculate precision.
Every time.
perfection.
Yeah.
Here, we need a.
It actually looks boring if I was that guy.
We got to get a real pros beat of Melania in here.
Yeah.
Melania, Blade of Mikkel.
Somebody
Here
at
we go.
level like 700.
A true champion.
Because you can get up to max levels like 700 and something.
13 or
700.
something weird.
Yeah.
I think I saw.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, is
the
this
one.
you?
This is the one, baby.
This is it? Oh, yeah. I watched you do this. You did it like the first 3 times you fought her. I felt like you were dead instantly, and then you just and then
as
you
soon
just
as the
wrecked her.
fight started. Like,
Yeah, and then
especially-
the first time was the worst. She just ran up to you instantly and was already killing you.
the
And I
second
was like,
one is
he's
the worst.
never going to be able to do. Maybe it was the second one.
The
I'm like, he's
second
never
one
gonna
is
do
the
this,
worst
ever.
because the first one, it cuts out of the cutscene and she runs up and kills me, and I was like, oh.
Yes.
So then the next time I
Yes.
go into the boss room and she runs up and just instantly kills me, and I was like, you fucking kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
But here's the thing, right? So like,
There it
there's her
is.
move, right?
Yeah.
But
how did that not?
How did,
Did she
my
get
mimic
interrupted?
interrupted
somebody,
it?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
interrupted
it got interrupted.
I guess you could hit her in the middle of it. I didn't even think about that.
Guess. Not worth
Yeah, maybe
the
if you
risk.
roll into it and smack her.
But look at how little damage he takes when he gets hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is he doing that you're not doing? How does he do
He's a
that?
plus 10 mimic.
Yeah, that's
He
so cool.
actually gets defense from my armor. I don't.
right. Yeah, exactly. I love that. That's my favorite thing. It just harkens back to Game of Thrones every time you do that.
I feel like I didn't even play this that well. I barely dodge any of her attacks.
That's how
Like,
I
she
feel
just-
on all my every boss fight I do.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people are like, "Man, it's so cool you learn and this," and I'm like, I just spam. I just
No.
run the fuck away. I try
Yeah.
to like look to a spot. Okay, this person just attacked, and now they're there's like a little bit of time before they reboot, and then I spam my magic.
It's
and hopefully
very
it works.
rarely ever an executed plan that gets
Yes,
the job
exactly.
done, right?
Exactly.
I got hit by her second rot bomb, but she never did in the second phase, she never did
Right,
the
the-
ghosts,
Yeah.
the blade. Like,
Huh.
What are you feeling
Wow.
in this moment when you beat her? Like this, were you just like, "Fuck"?
super
yes.
excited. Well,
'Cause
I
it
don't.
only took you like 4 tries.
It was like 4 tries.
Jeez
I've been way
Louise.
more excited for like. I worked on Malakath for like an hour the other day because it was just so insane.
Yeah, what's the most attempts either of you have had on one boss fight?
Probably the first Erdtree avatar. I think I tried
The
about
first
20
Erdtree
times.
Avatar? Wow.
I was probably 30 or I might have hit. I don't know if I hit 40. Not in a consecutive run. I never do more than, 10.
A few at a time. Okay.
Yeah. Because then you're just
Yeah,
burning.
it's just beating your head against the wall. It's the
Yeah.
worst. Wow, 30. Were you
I don't know who it was.
adequately
either.
leveled? Did you feel, or
I'll be right back.
were you like, I'm probably here too early or too soon? Maybe.
No, I mean, if you can tell when you're there too early, right? And then you just leave. That's my problem
Right.
with the late game. Is like, I'm here. What happens
here
if
now.
you get
What
to
am I
the
gonna
late
do?
game
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
and
You
you're
can't
there
really
too
go
early?
anywhere.
That was the thing. Because I got to this area where it's like, you do get locked into a certain area way late game. It's like, these guys are all super duper hard. Like, I'm getting killed by the two guys
Before
in
the
the
boss.
hallway on the way to the boss.
Oh,
And you do you gotta run past them, right? That's all you can do.
you said you've done some rune farms.
Yes, sir.
What have you done?
Okay.
I
One
did-
was legit. One
Okay.
was legit.
Okay.
There's 5. If you're in Limgrave, there's 5 big giant guys up on a cliff,
Yeah.
and they drop 1,000 each.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's by the War Master's Shack. That's what it is. You go to
Yep,
the War
okay.
Master's Shack. You go south.
Sure.
There's 5 big guys. You get 5,000. If you're
Damn.
low enough level, that's enough.
That's a lot. Yeah.
The one that feels like I cheated was, it's a whole freaking quest line to get to.
Was it that dragon?
It's not a dragon. No, I haven't
Okay.
killed the dragon.
I
thought
did
about
that
it,
one.
but I
That's
didn't.
the one I did. I cheated and got that one. That was like 10 levels for me early game.
Because I saw other guys like saying, "Oh no, don't kill it because it's gonna be something later.
Oh,
gonna be,
no.
It's like
Okay.
a plot
Yeah.
thing or,
Oops. Well, it's dead now.
right."
What are you
Or
gonna do?
a
Worth it.
DLC will come along and it's like, no, you can't use it.
Right.
The one I used, you have to, it starts in Liurnia, and we watched this.
Wait, what happened to your other one?
It should be there.
This one.
Yeah, so I went and killed this guy after I was way overpowered. But the other rune farm, you talk to this guy. He's in the very beginning. He has a white mask, and he asks you to, like, I don't remember what it is. You got to jump all over the map. You got to go to Lernia. You got to do all this stuff, and you wind up by Mog, the god of blood.
Okay.
And there are enemies there that are asleep, worth 2,000 XP each,
Wow.
and you kill them in their sleep. And there's probably 15.
Oh, damn.
So you can get 30,000. There's a couple guys guarding them that you have to kill, but there's probably 35,000 XP there.
Damn.
And I did
Yeah,
that a
that's
bit.
super simple. So that was early game then.
That was mid. Now it's like, it takes me 150,000 runes to
to level up.
and it's leveling up isn't going to be worth the time at this point.
For sure.
I just
Where-
gotta play. This was a hot mess of a boss fight.
Where
This
is
guy's
this? I
crazy
didn't even
looking.
I never did this one.
It's
I fought one of these guys
below-
in the manor.
It's below Volcano Manor. This is where I got the jar helmet.
He's sweet looking, this
Oh,
boss.
really?
And he's
Yeah,
wearing
there's
the
one of these
I'll be
guys
right back.
in the manor.
I didn't fight that.
Yeah, I was
What?
just like walking around in the manor down on the bottom by the lava, and one of these just comes out of the lava and was like,
Maybe
"What's
if you
up?"
kill it here, you don't fight it later.
No, I think
Some-
there's like because there's another
Multiple
one
versions. Yeah.
there's another one Ken and I have both fought that is at the end of. I don't want to spoil too much for you. There
Yeah,
is
that's fine.
one because to get up on the Altus Plateau, you'd have to get the 2 halves of the medallion to
Right, I
operate
still
the
need to get the
elevator.
other damn half. Ugh.
Unless you go in the mine, and then you can go up the long way to the top.
So that's what what's that NPC, the blind lady? Do you know who I'm talking about? You have to give her those grapes.
Yeah,
and
I
would
never
that turn
met
out to be
her.
human eyeballs? Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't mean to. There's this lady.
No, I know who you're
and-
talking about, but I never did that quest.
So I've been doing that one. She basically just, I won't give a ton away, but she wants these grapes, these shabibi grapes, or shabiri grapes or whatever. And then when you give them to her, she just goes to a different location. And then later, you don't know that until you find her again, and there she is, and she's like, "Oh, you got any more grapes for me?" And it's like, "Oh, damn." And then, you know, there's usually grapes to give her that's around the area. And the last thing she told me was that there's a lift to get to that plateau that you're talking about, or maybe somewhere around there, or you can go through the mines. So she just told me about that, about how
Whoa, look at this cheat
that the
move.
lift doesn't work.
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
No.
See, that's the sort of thing in this game where it's like, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, what the heck? Well, you were talking about NPC quests. There's a couple of NPC quests I purposefully did not finish because I don't want anything to do with the loathsome dung eater. So
Right.
I followed his quest line long enough to unlock his jail cell where he'll like start his quest with you, and then I just killed
Kill
him
them.
because I was like, screw you. And it's always like with the NPCs, you get a couple of hits, and then like, all right, you want to fight? And by then, I was like, you're gonna die, buddy.
Yep,
Like,
you're dead now.
gross. All he wants to do is get out of there so he can go defile people and spread his like gross loathsomeness. Killed him,
man.
and then I went down and I did a lot of Fia's quest, the creepy lady who hugs you. And then you get to a point where you can like continue her quest and you know, which is essentially she wants you to mend the Elden Ring with her modified version of the death rune. It's one of the endings you can do in that the undead will be like essentially allowed as a part of the Golden Order.
Oh shit!
Because
Whoa.
like destined to death or whatever, where you actually just die for real, is like was left out of the Golden Order, so everybody's like immortal. That's why they all like look they're like they all look terrible because they're all so freaking old. But you can put the return normal destined death where people die like normal. But what Fia wants is for you to be like the undead are accepted, right? She's the deathbed companion. She like likes to
She's
raise
the one that
people from the
holds
dead.
you.
Yes,
Like, I want to hold you.
yeah,
Man,
and so
oh,
I
man.
was like, that's creeping me out too. So what I did is you have to fight a couple of like invasions. They're like
Oh, this is
Fia's
the same thing.
and then you talk to her, and then she's like, essentially, do you want to continue my quest? And I was like, nope, and I just killed her.
There you go. What else do I
killed
got
Fia.
here?
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
here you can see me try and sneak into.
Oh, this is the upper part of the Halig tree. You're up.
Consecrated snowfield.
Well, this is the bullshit you have to get through to get to the tree.
Oh, this is the first secret area to
Right.
get to the secret area. This is There's a secret to even get here. You talk about medallions. There's two other halves of a different medallion that you have to get to this area.
I have one half of two different types of medallions.
So
Yeah,
you have
that
half
sounds
of the one
about
to
right.
come here.
Yeah.
If you got it from the guy hiding in the pot, and then you got attacked in the round table hold, right? After you picked that up from that
No,
guy.
he probably
The
had.
albino-
I got
Norak.
one. There was one in a tower that was by the Mistwood.
Yeah, that's the normal elevator.
That's I got one half there, and then the other half, from the guy hiding in the pot. Right.
The other half of that is much, much deeper into the game. So just hold on to that.
Because that's one potential worry that I have is with all this stuff that you can miss. You know,
Oh,
I'm
you can
worried that I'm going to
forget.
just miss. Yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly. Like, oh
Yeah.
crap, because there's a lot of stuff that I don't remember people's names. I don't
Nope.
remember when I got this medallion. I don't remember what the medallion does, even though somebody told me when I got the medallion what it's supposed to do. I don't remember that anymore.
Right.
You know, so I'm a little. Oh, I love those guys with the books, and then it's like kill these 3 undead spirits. Those
Or-
things are great because for me they give me another. What are the things that let you cast more spells? Every time I've done one of those, I get another one of those
Memory slot?
memory stones. Or slots. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're
And-
right. Yeah.
Oh, is it so great? Now I can I have like 6 different spells now I can, through.
Gotcha.
And it's just so cool.
You are
This-
cruising through this.
This
Ken.
took
like,
me a while, but I feel like I did go through this pretty fast because you can't fight these guys, or I couldn't.
It took me forever to figure this out. Like, and the stupid archers are just constantly.
Yeah, the archers are the problem. There's
Like-
one right over here.
Are you lighting like lanterns?
Yeah, you got to light 4 lanterns here. There's an archer over there who's going to destroy
What a
me.
Lord of the Rings rip.
Yeah.
The archers are just. Oh, you have
sweet.
range.
What is that?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
that
doesn't do
helps.
any damage.
Is that an
That's
incantation?
true.
Yeah. The
Look at how much damage one arrow does. Did you see
Right.
that?
Yeah.
It's more than 50% of Ken's health.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's such bullshit.
And that's the
how
the
do
end
I-
of the game
I-
is like that. Like there's no way to
Oh.
to negate
Whoa,
the
we jumped
damage.
quick.
Whoa.
All right, so I got one, got another one. You gotta
Do you
light
actually have to
these.
use your torch?
The torch reveals invisible enemies in this town that will one-shot you.
Oh.
Yeah, there are
Of course.
invisible assassins that if you don't have this torch that you buy from one certain merchant, that's not a normal
my
torch. You have to
God.
buy that torch.
I do
That
have a different. I have a
specific
different
one.
torch as well. I wonder if I have the right.
You're not there. You're not even there yet, my friend.
You definitely
tell
don't
ya.
have this torch.
Oh, okay. So
No.
there's multiple torches. It's not just
Right.
two.
Yeah, there's one that's like it's like green or bluish, right? It
Yeah,
keeps
there's
like
different
beasts
ones.
away or something. I don't have
Yeah.
that one.
Just trying to figure out how to get up here. Here we can.
I think there's like a ladder. This one took me forever to figure out. There's like a
There, I
ladder
got it.
way around the
All right.
other side of it.
And then you
Yeah.
can see that door way in the back opens up.
Those
Oh, it
stupid
just
archers.
transports me.
But shit, what if you don't see that happen?
It transports me. It went to
Oh,
an
okay.
auto load
Okay.
screen. Yeah.
I'm like, what the?
So you don't have to do that bullshit anymore.
Oh
Yeah.
damn, is that wolf there gonna fuck with you?
No, they're friendly in this.
Is this your normal getup? Pothead?
I like
Brass
this armor a
shield.
lot, actually. The fingerprint armor.
Where'd you get that from?
He's in the mountaintops, I think. He's
You
at
like
an
the way it
Ever
looks, or
jail.
you like what it does for you?
Both.
Oh, yeah, I killed this guy. I know who you're
yeah.
talking about.
His name's Vike, I think. But the jar is separate. I like the jar helmet.
That is
Just 'cause
cool.
it's-
Yeah, because you're wearing a pot on your head.
right.
Yeah, it's
So
fucking
this
Man,
is
we didn't
where it
even
gets
talk
spicy.
about try finger butthole.
Yeah, we
oh
did.
my gosh, yeah, those damn things. For the longest time, I was so stupid and didn't realize that they were like pre-scripted messages. I'm like, why does everybody? How do they all know to talk the same way?
Why do they
I was like, are these
speak
just
like
dumb
this?
kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I was so stupid. And I was like, these must
Fortnite.
be. Yeah, Fortnite. Ay, ay, ay.
No, I didn't know that either until I saw some guy like putting a message down in YouTube. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Right, it makes so
But I
much
had
sense.
Oh boy, this part of the Halig tree. I hate this part of the
Easy
Halig tree.
peasy, man. Just
snowmen?
run through it.
So this actual thing is the Halig tree.
Yeah.
And
I-
this is
a-
different from the Erd tree.
Yes.
This is Mikola's Halig tree, which he was trying to grow in opposition to the Erd tree because he did not like the Golden Order.
right.
Oh, that's cool.
Watch this.
Mikola, oh, good one.
That had nothing to do with me. I just rolled off the side of it.
Oh man, I've had issues with Torrent, because his
Yeah.
controls are very shoddy.
Oh, I like
especially
him
in
most of the
issues like
time.
this. Me too. Most of the time, I
time.
like him too. But there's definitely issues, especially if you were like traversing this with him.
Oh,
my
it'd be a
God,
nightmare.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a nightmare.
Well, so did you get down to the?
Yeah,
I
we'll
was
just-
in the
we'll just
I
skip
was in the
ahead.
Halig tree a little bit
This
later,
takes a while.
out of the branches, down where the knights
This is
are.
cool to watch.
But did you struggle much in the area in the middle area? The part you're about to get, this part with all the like buildings,
Yes.
but you're still
Yeah, I
within
had to do
trees.
this 10 or 12
Whoa,
times.
I hate
This
those
was
things.
figure this
very
out.
hard.
God, I hate these things.
And then you got to fight Loretta. Did you that armor? I
yeah,
gotta put that
she
back
took a couple
on.
tries. But
That
she
sword
was cool.
is awesome.
She was in that sweet spot. It took like 4 or 5 tries to get her.
Yeah,
That's
there's some.
that's the juicy spot.
Where I don't even know if I.
Yeah, 4 to 5, I'd be okay with. More than that, I think it would start to get like, no, I don't really care anymore.
See the way that this part even is,
Oh.
the
The guy
complexities of
falls off.
He just like ran off the edge.
Look at my health.
Damn.
running on the ragged edge here. Look at
But
you
it's
just
100%,
shield
you're
stuff.
100% damage.
I should have
resistant,
just killed that guy.
I need to shield stuff
But
sometimes.
man,
apparently.
it's good.
Yeah, the shield is sweet.
Wow, look at that.
Especially if you get the one that's 100 damage negation, like that.
Yeah, that's what that is. The brass
Yeah.
shield. Yeah.
I don't think
And
I was.
I tried some
ever
of the
in here.
heavier shields. They don't do anything extra.
Yeah.
This one, they'll probably nerf this one. I feel like.
I think the heavier
Yeah.
shields eat less of your stamina.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's with the big heavy shields. There's a guard boost. It's called, and it's how much
It's
stamina.
not that much higher than this shield, though.
But
Do
I
you
saw
level your shield up, Ken?
Oh yeah, it's plus 25.
Wow.
on that one like Paladin Knight build video. He had his guard boost was so high it was 0 stamina to block with the shield.
How did he do that? Huh.
I don't know. I'll have to watch that video again, but
Well, died somewhere in there. There it is.
No. You died. That text is so. I hate those fucking things.
It took me a long time to get through all this. This is a long
but it's
video.
cool.
Whoa.
But I liked
Oh, man.
I liked
An
this
AoE attack.
dungeon though. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, it was cool.
the volcano, like I said before, just all the cool dungeons towards the end of the game are like awesome.
I spent
because you're
so much time trying to get onto this branch. It's just a dead end.
Oh man.
It's just that's it.
Of course.
Yeah, you can drop onto there from that platform above to get onto that roof, so you don't
Yeah.
have to go through the building. That's the way I went. But the thing is, like, going
there you
through all
go.
these dungeons towards the end,
That's
I
that
felt
guy
like,
from the beginning.
Yep.
yeah, he's
Watch
just a
me get-
normal enemy here.
Cam locked by backing into a corner, so I can't see
Oh.
anything at all.
Yep. That's the worst.
And then there's there's an
Oh,
herb
there-
tree avatar below me.
Oh, it's
Is
one
that
of those
what's doing
poison
that?
flowers. I don't
Yeah, the
understand why
poison
they have that
flowers.
move.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
is that
agree.
what it is?
I
No,
always
think
why
it's-
do
wonder
the-
why they have
I think
that
it's an
thing.
herb tree avatar.
No, there's 2 poison flowers down there, right down that
Oh.
ladder. Yeah, that you could see it right
Sure?
underneath you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do that stupid attack.
Oh,
They have so much health and they do not. They give you nothing.
I hope
Yeah.
you get this smithing stone over there. I think it's an ancient one.
I need an ancient somber dragon smithing stone.
Right behind you.
Oh, I got it already.
The
Watch me get
There-
killed by this guy on the left.
if you do
But no, I already found him. I knew about him already.
if you do Millicent's quest, you can get a somber ancient dragon
That's
smithing
so
stone.
cool. That
Really?
incantation.
But you have to kill Melania.
Right, of course.
I love that incantation you're doing.
It's good for, especially if you're fighting the hands that are like, or the
Yeah,
bats
on
that
the
are on
ceiling.
ceilings.
Yeah.
It'll if it doesn't kill them, it will knock them down, and then you can
Yeah.
at least get
Watch out for the
jump on
rock
'em.
bros.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, my glintstone pebble does pretty well against those things.
Nice.
I have like a glintstone shard now. It's like basically the pebble version 2.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it does great stuff against those damn
Man,
bats.
where did I even wind up here? Oh, these people killed me a lot.
Those
I can't-
fucking things. Those
My sword can't
crystallese
do any
things.
damage to them. You need a hammer, I think.
You got to
You gotta-
break their.
Yeah.
Yeah, you break them and
You
then
gotta
they're-
But they're
two-hand
being,
it.
they're being summoned by
The
these.
snail boss. I fought that
snails.
boss. That stupid snail boss earlier in the game. I was
didn't
fighting these summons. I thought it was the boss. I killed the summon. I'm like, yay! And I'm like, why is
Right.
it? Why is it still going?
Still here,
Yeah,
coming back.
but that was cool. I thought that was a
Yep.
pretty cool idea. Like, oh, okay,
There
this
we go,
thing is
we got-
just
oh,
invisible.
Yeah,
Over
these
here.
guys.
Oh, I hated
destroyed
these
me.
guys. Yeah, these guys killed me a bunch of times. It was harder to get to the boss
Yeah,
than it was to
I
fight
just
the
ran
boss.
past them. That's when you run past.
I want one of those sweet hammers. Those are so cool. Where do you get all
What
that
did I-
stuff?
I want the like giant hammer that's
she
like
is.
it looks like
Yeah.
it's just a big rock.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
But it's
That's-
magic, right?
That's the hippie armor that I was the one with the big
Is
hips
it?
that I was wearing when we were fighting Moog. Yeah, you can.
I didn't get that.
No, you have to buy it at the round table hold from the.
Oh, okay.
Two
From the
Fingers lady.
remembrance or whatever.
Yeah, it's for sale in there.
I didn't realize she dropped her remembrance.
She doesn't, but her armor's for sale after you defeat
Oh, that's
her.
weird.
Yeah, it is.
Huh. That's
Man,
the
look
thing.
at your summon
I
is
can
like
just
this cool
block
guy.
her shit.
I killed her
So-
pretty quick. Actually,
Yeah,
You
she's
don't-
pretty easy.
You don't have the mimic tier yet, Ken?
I do. I don't like it because of the way I'm spec'd. They're
Ah.
not super smart with the way they use the shield.
Oh, okay. And that's what you need for your build.
Yeah, and that's the way I'm spec'd. And this guy, who has 2 swords, basically aggroes the bosses like crazy.
That's awesome.
So he's a perfect counterpart.
Do you know his name?
Oleg. Banished Knight Oleg. I don't
Banished
know when I
Knight
got
Oleg.
him.
I might have that one.
Highly recommend him though.
Okay. Yeah, I've been
I,
using that Loodle the Headless.
I've
And the
heard that
runes,
one's
but-
really good.
He's great because he teleports.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he
He's
can
got a
so
bow
he can
too, right?
yeah, or I think it's like a spear. He like throws something from far, and then he'll teleport right up to them and then smack them,
Yeah.
draw their aggro. So I can just
Gotcha.
hit spells after spell. Yeah, he's pretty sweet, but he costs a lot.
I need some new armor. Maybe I gotta wear this hip girl.
yeah, do it.
I'm still wearing Radons. That's my best armor.
If you can afford the weight of Radons, it's like the best armor in the game, essentially.
Is there?
Yeah.
It's a super heavy.
Other than there's one level up of heaviness. You know, if like the row that it's on, Radon's is second from the bottom. It's almost
the
as heavy
big
as you
fat
can go.
Lionel guy. Yeah.
The fat one, and then the Dung Eater's armor is also super heavy.
Oh, is that right? Oh.
And so you do notice a difference, Ben, just not on the boss
It's
fights.
minor. It's minor.
It is a difference. It just
You wish it was
I
more of a difference.
still wear the heavy armor. I maybe I shouldn't. I do. though.
It's sweet. So when you went and got
Whoa.
the katanas, and you started, like you showed us that you kicking the shit out of those guys in the Halig tree with the katanas,
Uh-huh.
you had already beaten the game at that point.
Correct.
And so did you just, after you beat the game, you could just keep playing?
Yes. So
Nice.
you have the option to start a new game plus if you want. It asks you right at the end of the credit roll. And it says if you don't select it now, you can go to the round table hold and then
and
you
do
can
it later?
select to do it later. Otherwise, you can just keep playing.
That's good.
There's
Wow,
only
that's
one
super
area
cool.
of the map that is permanently changed based on stuff you do during the game. So there's one area of the map that is different after a certain point. But the rest of the map's the same. Yeah.
And so you just kind of went back. Yeah, let's go do this. So because like
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to turn it off right away, right?
yeah, I wouldn't either for sure. Because then you can
No,
still
there's a bunch
go
of stuff
find
I
other
still have
stuff
to
you
do.
haven't done. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to try out other weapons, and I had enough somber smithing stones to level up 2 more weapons to +10. So I did
Wow.
those 2
Gotcha.
katanas.
This was
Well,
weird.
Can you
The,
fight the end boss again?
Sorry. Can you?
No, I didn't mean
No.
to interrupt. Yeah, like to get different endings.
The site of grace
you'd
here
have to new game plus to get a different.
was
ending.
not in the right place.
That's
I can't
weird.
get to it. I had to go over here.
Huh.
Very
Get it.
strange.
How did you figure that out? I'd have been.
I just spun in circles
Yeah, just
for a
kept
minute.
hitting the button. Oh,
Yeah.
that's annoying. I wonder if that's like that everywhere. If that's just yours. So you're a level 137. Wow.
Look at all that faith.
Can you pause it for a sec?
Yeah.
I want to see how you're leveled there. So you have 40 in vigor.
It's-
42.
I don't know
in-
about the
so
faith.
strength
The
is
faith
your
might have been a
is your
waste.
best. You think faith is too much? You wouldn't have done that?
It depends so much on what weapon you're using. And I thought what originally happened was I had a weapon that was it scaled only with faith and it was S tier.
Yeah.
Well, what I found was that you'd fight people who are faith like enemies and you're
Right.
not doing
It does
any
nothing to
damage
them.
to them
Uh,
at all. And so the sword I have now is like strength, dex, faith. I probably should put some points into dex actually.
So you can go back and respec And if you can't, would you just you could go like you could for instance go 10 levels down in faith and then put those 10 levels into dexterity?
Yeah, it's the second in the main boss of Liurnia of the Lakes. Once you beat her, she doesn't give you a rune. She allows you to respec, but you need a specific item to do it.
You
Oh,
have
I
to
see.
spend
So you
larval
can't do it like
tears.
whenever you want to.
Yeah, and you
You
get
can only
you get
Okay.
you get a few of them.
Yeah, I think I've respected 3 times.
Yeah,
Oh, you have?
yeah.
Yep.
What did
It
you
was-
respect? What do you remember what you
At,
did?
well, at first I was doing a hybrid strength dex, and then when I committed to dex based stuff, I respect to just all that stuff I had spent in strength I wanted back, and I put it all in dex. And then the final 2 swords that I wanted to use, one of them requires 17 arcane, and
Oh,
so I went
man.
and respect to get the arcane.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. Because
Yeah,
there's
that's what
some stuff I
happens.
can't use. Because incantations are mostly faith, right?
Yep.
You need faith to do those.
Yep.
I'm kind of bummed that I feel like there's a lot of kick-ass incantations that I can't use. Aren't some of those dragon ones? Don't they need faith or do they need arcane?
I think they're usually
Both.
arcane, unfortunately. Yeah.
So typically they're both.
Are they?
Anything that's like anything that is like incantation is going to be faith based, and then it maybe has an arcane requirement as well for the dragon stuff. And then depending on how much damage you want to do is what your spell casting thing scales with.
Right.
So if you go find the Dragon Communion one, it scales more with Arcane. And if you use the
really?
Beast Claw, whatever, that one scales with Strength, actually.
Yeah, all of mine scaled
wow.
directly with faith.
Yeah. Okay.
But
but
then
that-
some of those give bonuses to certain spell types, right? The Beast Claw,
Yep.
whatever, gives
But they don't
extra damage
stay.
to Beast's stat. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one that's like, oh, it boosts Godslayer incantations. Well, what the hell's a Godslayer
Yeah, what the hell is that?
incantation? Doesn't say on the incantation. Doesn't say anywhere.
Yeah, I think that's all the Black Flame stuff.
Is it? Okay.
Because that's what the Godskin guys use. They use those Black Flame spells. I could be wrong, though.
I gotta look it up.
I'm not sure.
All right,
So you
I gotta
haven't
get to bed here.
Anything to arcane and really not much to dexterity.
But
Or
I mean, I don't know. I don't think this is a good build, quite frankly.
Okay.
Mine is really based more on my shield, which doesn't require any of these things.
True. Yeah, true.
I mean, I could just as easily switch to whatever sword Ben's using, or
Because I feel the same way. I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'll go intelligence again, or I'll do mind this time. I don't know. You know,
That's
how
kind of how it
level
is,
up.
right?
Yeah, I'm just guessing.
You're like, well, I'll try to get to the next. I kind of like do vigor in like 5s, right? I'll get vigor up to 25, and then I'll bring everything else up. I'll bring my dex up with it or whatever, and then
Yeah.
I want to be at 30 or 35 or 40 vigor, and then after that, what I was doing was just like, because I have weapons that scale with strength and with dex, and I would just see if I put a point into dex,
What's it do? Yeah.
what does
Yeah,
my
what is-
attack
right.
power? How does my attack power change over? Because attack power is right over there on the right.
Yep.
And if I put a point into strength, because though I was committed to those weapons, so it didn't matter anymore what my future was for my stats. It was how do my stats or how do my
Yeah.
stats affect the
Yeah.
weapons I have right now? And then all of a sudden, that the center part of this screen was way more beneficial because all I cared about was what made my current weapons do more damage, and it tells you.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you're like, I'm building towards something in the future that I don't have yet, it's impossible to know.
Yeah. Yeah. And the only reason my faith is at 41 is because I have one spell that heals you over time, and I'm not even
Oh.
sure I need it. I don't know.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
I could probably respec again. So
Yeah,
But it would be cool to do like an actual spell casting faith build because there's all kinds of fire spells and there's all kinds of lightning
they
spells and stuff.
suck. They
I
suck.
saw some videos where they looked good. There was
I mean,
one
I
where
have-
there was like black flame and it was like melting.
Yeah, that's true. I
blossoms.
guess
I
if
have
you
'em.
Faith at 41, you have that lightning
They
bolt one.
suck.
Yeah.
I have like there's one where you grow a tail and it's AoE and he sweeps people, and it just doesn't. I don't know. They're bad because the Crucible Knights drop faith-based spells. That are supposed to be really good, but maybe I'm just bad. I don't know. All right, I gotta take off.
All right, see you, Ken.
Cool.
See you guys. Thanks.
Cool, man. Have a good one.
You too.
We should probably wrap this up. But here,
Yeah.
I will, just because we were looking at stats, let me pause this. So here's essentially where I'm at over on the right there. 48 vigor, 12 mind,
Okay,
37
your mind you haven't
endurance.
Done much too. Endurance. Okay, I was wondering. So when you put stuff in endurance, was that to get your equip load high?
That was specifically to be able to wear the heaviest armor.
Right.
Because I was hoping that would be advantageous.
And your dex is way up there.
Because my weapons scale with dex, right?
And your arcane is kind of high too.
Because my other weapon scales with arcane.
Oh,
Right.
I see.
And here's the thing. So if you have this katana, for example, causes blood loss buildup of 50, and it has no arcane scaling. It has strength scaling of E, dex scaling of B. So if I up the arcane, the blood loss buildup will stay 50 forever.
Sure.
But if I move this forward slightly to the other one, this one has arcane scaling. So the blood loss buildup also changes with arcane. So if I continue to increase arcane, that 52 would be 53, 54, 55. So if you have a weapon that scales with arcane, then its passive effects also will scale with your arcane. So if you have something that does poison or does blood loss, it'll scale with that. And so that's why I have so many points into arcane, because I'm trying to proc blood loss. And it's the same reason why like Ken doesn't like his mimic, because his mimic doesn't fight well with his build. I like my mimic because all I'm trying to do is hit them as many times as I can to proc blood
and
loss.
get that blood loss. Yeah.
That's all I want. And he has 2 more swords that cause blood loss just as much as mine do. So that's why I like mine.
That's awesome. My current staff scales intelligence at an S, which is cool.
Yeah, see,
But I can't level it up. I can't like do anything to it. So eventually, it's going to not be as good.
why can't you level it up?
It won't take anything. Like you can't use anything onto it. Yeah, it's the meteorite staff, I think it's called. I found it. I randomly just found it in. Like I was searching in. I think it was Kaled. Do you remember that? I can't remember if I talked to you about it. I went to a treasure chest, and the smoke came out, trapped me.
Yep.
And it sent me to this place, and I was like, how the fuck do I get out of here?
A
I'm
cave
just
with some bugs?
Yes, those bugs, and they just like throw these like it looks like
Yep.
like maximum carnages, like things that
Mm-hmm.
come out of them, and they one shot you, and it's like right when you get out of this shack, and you can't get out, like you can't
Right.
go to your map and teleport away, and so I finally just ran away, and somehow I was able to find a site of grace. And I was like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm going to keep going and see where this takes me. And I came out of that cave into these like swamps I think I was in Kaled. And there was a ruin in there. And I just went in there and I was like, wonder how strong these guys are. And there was this one little, dead guy's body with a thing on it. I was like, oh, what's that? Boom. And it was this meteorite staff.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, oh, badass. That's pretty freaking sweet. And then I found this rock sling spell, which is like my strongest spell still. That's still the spell I use to fight every boss with. And I just randomly found him in this ruin in Kaled.
The trap made you strong.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that trap, I would. That's like everything. That was just freaking sweet. That's how cool is that? That's so freaking cool.
Nice. All right. Well, time for bed. So
Yeah, man. Cool, dude.
thanks, Ryan. Really
Yeah, dude.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. This was fun. We'll see you next time.